The hosts of the Swine Brothers show are not role models. They're not even human. They're complete monsters. The Swine Brothers show is dumb, crude, thoughtless, ugly, sexist, self-destructive, foolish, and a crime against humanity. Some of the things they do would cause a person to get hurt, expelled, arrested, possibly deported. The fact they blatantly ripped this off from another source should be an indicator of their shameless depravity. This extreme in bad taste will offend anyone with a working brain, so listener discretion is advised. If you're still here, welcome to the sewer of the internet.
I never got to thank my ex-wife for teaching me about the magical clitoris. That's over 30 women that's helped me with. Thank you.
And with that, welcome to another edition of the Swine Brothers Show. It's episode 193. You can, if you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so at Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Facebook is still Swine Brothers. Of course, Jim is still in charge of that, unfortunately. And we do not have a Twitter at this point. I'm your host, Elliot Lindemood.
I am Jim, the Seeing Eye Mutant. And what the fuck happened to Twitter?
Too many people blocked us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just have a personal Twitter, which is at Helliot94 at this point. I'll start a new one up whenever I can be bothered.
Yeah, well, Twitter's not that high priority. Everyone's going everywhere else.
Nope. So, before we begin, again, thank you so much to Mr. King Fowley for the brilliant last episode. And if you're new here from that episode, and you've decided to stick around and see what a normal episode is like, thank you. And we hope you enjoy it.
And also, we would like it if you were to like, comment, subscribe, share the fuck out of it, because we suck at promotion. Yes,
but commenting would be awesome. I would love to get more interaction other than, you're bad for society in general. Actually, I love you're bad for society in general.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun one.
Yes.
And we're bad for the country. I like that.
Yeah,
we're destroying the country.
Before we get started on the main topic of the day, I just have to say, King sent me his book on Wednesday, which is when we did the interview. Yes, we did it like an hour before we uploaded it. We're fast like that. And by Friday, I had finished reading it. I think even Jim was like, "Wait, you read that fast?" Mm-hmm. It's a pretty big book. It's called "Stay Ugly: The Life and Near Deaths of King Fowley," and it is the best metal book I have read in many years. It will make you laugh. It will probably make you cry. It will make you happy. It might make you sad. And stick around for the epilogue, the 50-question epilogue, because there's a lot of stories that are sort of myths, such as the swordfish story, which is in there, which is actually less depraved than I thought it would be, although still hilarious. I don't know how you can get it. It's I don't know if it's in print at the moment. It wasn't last time I heard. Oh, God. But Stay Ugly: The Life and Near Deaths of King Fowley. So get that somewhere. Like I said, I don't know if it's on Amazon or somewhere, but I know Jim hasn't read it. I think once Jim reads it, we'll review it.
Yeah, but it sounds like a good read.
It is. It kind of fits into the whole purpose of the show.
So what was on tonight's agenda?
What was on tonight's agenda? Other than murdering you? Oh, yes. Everything's romantic.
And what brought this upon?
Well, I have a girlfriend, as you probably heard. Yeah. And we were wait, before we get any further, I forgot to do my ceremonial.
Go ahead, come on.
Anyway, so we were watching a movie together, and they asked what movie we were watching. The Law Enforcement Guide to Occult Practices.
This was from '94, back when I was the satanic baby killer.
Yes.
This was an actual police training video.
Yes,
to go after the satanic threat that didn't exist.
Well, yes, and all the things that got wrong were hilarious. So, somebody said it, because I said we're having a nice romantic time. And they said, oh, what movie are you watching? I don't know, maybe expecting some comedy or something. Which, I mean, this is a comedy, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, that's not romantic. And I was like, what are you talking about?
I mean, dude, okay, I got laid because of Mega Man 2. I got laid because I generally knew what the Higgs boson was, okay? With the right person, anything can be fucking romantic. It just all depends on what that person's into. If they're into shameless depravity, even a show Swine Brothers can be.
I mean, I've done it. I described Judy a Lovecraft story. I believe it was Shadow Out of Time, and she got turned on by the themes, I guess. So in essence, I didn't even read the story. I described it. So in essence, I was a Wikipedia page. That's all it took.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were telling me about watching horror movies with various partners and things like that. So
people typically expect the horror movies to be romantic because, oh my god, they're getting scared into your arms. No, we're pointing and laughing at the gore. It's great, isn't it? Just look at that. Mm-hmm. It's power tool safety with the Jackhammer Massacre,
with the longest extension cord in history.
Mm-hmm.
Until it breaks.
And then the fucking shooting up heroin scene. Dear God, that was like the infection got infected, which was also infected.
Yes.
Oh,
but,
God.
So yes, I mean, yeah, well, yeah, I guess yes, you're scared and run into your arms, whereas actually she's describing, the low budget gore. It looks like pickles and blood, and I'm just laughing.
I mean, heck, one of my current romantic interests, the one I'm actually trying to go after, she was going on saying about, like, how romantic the old school church burnings were back during the days of the birth of black metal, and how she wished we were hooking up then, so that way we could enjoy a nice, bonfire of, the steeple collapsing in on itself.
Oh, that's the song I forgot to add. Oh, well. Next time. I was, yeah. So, well, yes, church burnings. I mean, that actually is. Actually, fire has been known to be a romantic thing.
Well, she suggested an abandoned graveyard with a bog beside it. I thought that was equally romantic. Well, almost.
That's touching.
Yes.
But yes, the law enforcement guide, I mean, it was, first off, it was hilarious. It got everything wrong. I love their just we'll have to watch it together and sort of riff over it but yeah, we laughed at it. It was a comedy. It brought us closer together.
Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing with romance, the whole entire bringing you closer together. I mean, sure, you could sit there, throw the rose petals everywhere, lay them up in this pretty design, and, have the candles lit. That kind of sets a mood. But that's more setting up the mood for horny than, actually, hey, we're going to bond over this thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I told you about the dirt track, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was bonding. I loved that her friend was trying to dress up all nice, and I was like, "You don't want to dress up. It's a dirt track. Come on."
And I know whenever I say, "Oh yeah, I got laid over this," I'm like, kind of like, just making it sound like it was purely about the sex, but that wasn't all that was going on. It's just me being a crude asshole on air.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think anything. I mean, I once got closer to a girl by telling her the history of auto racing. She was fascinated by the fact that as far as I can figure, the first unorganized race took place shortly after the Civil War, although that was in England in 1868 or so. And the first organized race, probably anywhere, took place in 1878. Like, wow, they had, it was two steam-powered cars racing racing across Wisconsin. They were basically buckboards with, 12-foot tall smokestacks.
Yeah.
But she was fascinated by the fact that somewhere somebody decided, hey, we have two cars, why don't we race?
My God, just all the fucking weird-ass conversations I had with chicks that, like, you wouldn't think, were that connection, but, like, it wound up being. I mean, horror movies, just going over, some basic ones. Sometimes even griping about ones that sucked. I still fucking can't. I was bored out of my mind for fucking American Psycho. And it's like, great, more yuppies. Like, don't encounter them on a daily basis online. Look at me, my shit don't stink. Go away.
I kind of got what he was going for, but I don't know. It was deconstructing the whole American dream thing and the whole yuppie thing.
Oh,
but at the same time,
but you included yuppies in it, and it was a realistic portrayal, which is like, watching an episode of Friends, The Exciting Life of Yuppies. Who cares?
I love Jello Biafra because I grew up with Friends. When I was like 4 years old, my parents watched it. I love Jello Biafra roasting Friends. I've never been in an apartment that big in New York.
Oh, God. It was that show that would only stay on simply because you were too stoned to reach the remote. That was its entire viewership, was like, I'm too stoned to reach the remote. God, change the channel. Someone, please.
That wasn't Friends for me. You're going to laugh, but that was like the home shopping thing.
Oh, the Home Shopping Network's fucking hilarious when you're blitzed out of your skull.
Because you want everything they're selling, don't you?
Oh, no, I didn't. I wanted to call up and fuck with them. And we did, multiple times.
No, I wanted everything. Like, they were selling the most the weakest swords imaginable. And all I could think was... It reminds me of home movies, because I think Brendan Small was also a avid viewer of Home Shopping Network. Swords. Keep in mind, they're pretty crappy swords.
Yeah, they were really crappy. They fell apart in water.
But I was out of my mind, so I wanted them. And then they would have like the knife that can slash through anything. I wanted that. Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, it was amazing, but it was. So you would actually call them up. Oh, I tried calling up the Playboy channel once.
Why?
Because
thought that was a 900 number.
No. The Playboy radio channel.
Okay.
Because I wanted to prank call them with like some sexual. Yeah, I have this STD and I have like a third head coming out of my ass. What should I do? Unfortunately, I gave them Arkansas, and they're like, "Why does it say you're calling from California?" I was like, "Shit."
Oh, Blindy didn't understand technology. This is why we use payphones.
Yeah, but it was 2010. There were no payphones.
Yeah, that's because kids are lame. They don't get the prank call anymore. Oh, man. I remember, there were times where, like, we got the number for a payphone, and, like, we'd wait for, like, one of the factories to go on their, like, lunch break. And at the time, lunch breaks were an hour long. Just about everywhere. So they'd go over to the Kogos. There was this fucking payphone there, and we'd fucking call them up and tell them things like, "This is Mixed Jams 100.7. You've just won $2,000. How does it feel, Burnout?" Do you know that this is a payphone? I'm sorry, that answer was incorrect. Thanks. Try again next time.
I still like my friend who he was a DJ, at like a college radio station, and he would start giving away tickets he didn't have to people he didn't know. You've just won 2 tickets. And then they come to collect it, and he'd be long gone. We don't have these tickets. What? he got fired for giving tickets to himself on air. No. He called himself and gave tickets to himself on air.
Okay.
He was drunk, by the way.
There was this guy, we called him Boonhauer, because he kind of sounded like him with how excited he was and everything. Well, anyways, he got a job telemarketing for the Sears siding. And one time he got a hold of someone, this is how he lost this job. He was like, "Hi, we got Bob Vila coming down to remodel your house." And he got all the information he was supposed to like, get credit for, like, the thing. So he shipped it off them, told them when they were going to expect the crew. And whenever the crew showed up, they were pissed off because they had to get rusted cars out of the fucking out of their fucking yard because they were expecting, a TV crew, Bob Vila. This is like it, we're going to be famous. And no, it was just a normal siding crew.
For those of you, yes, Bob Vila was huge back then.
He was the home maintenance expert everyone wanted to watch on TV.
He was on a bunch of I never saw his show, but he was on a bunch of commercials on TNN, I think it was. Whenever I watched like racing or whatever. Yeah, he was huge back then. So,
oh yeah,
oops. We're gonna be famous.
Well, there have been times where, like, I've gotten chicks to get closer to me, snuggle up with me while I'm telling some of my old war stories like that, Like the Boomhauer that stole Christmas. Same dude. 6 feet of snow. Okay. He's cracked out of his skull. We don't know what the fuck he was on, but he was on something. And he gets the crazy idea to just go around to different people's houses and steal all their Christmas presents from under the tree. And he brings them all back to his house. So they're back at his apartment, and the police obviously can follow all the footsteps. They all go to and from the same apartment, so they knew who did it. They kicked open the door, and there's Boomhauer, masturbating to gay porn, with his wife and child in the room behind him.
Oh, no.
And all the Christmas presents all over the floor. This is how you want the cops to find you.
Somebody needs to make this into a How the Grinch Stole Christmas poem.
Yeah, I know. How the Boomhauer stole Christmas. And then he masturbated to gay porn, and all looked upon him with great scorn.
Some say his dick grew 3 sizes that day.
Before shrinking to micrometers within the foray.
That story always makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's. Well, I mean, I told somebody when I met, certain people's just friends. They were, what you didn't do all that, did you? Tell us more about Puke and tell us more about Dave and people. It was like I was some sort of like celebrity.
Oh yeah, fucking shit. The funny part's this, whenever I was younger, my girlfriend's parents always considered me the good Christian boy. I mean, one trusted me so much they let me crash at their house. I had to sleep on the couch now, and I abided by that. But, she'd get on top of me, we'd start snuggling, and, they just didn't count on, some chick riding me. Their daughter was riding me. She'd bite the pillow, I'd bite her neck to keep the sound down, and yeah. They didn't get pissed off at me till, like, a couple years later, whenever, that relationship dissolved, And she told him that, like, she slept with me, and they got, like, all pissed off, saying, but he was such a good Christian boy.
My question would be, wait, you didn't... What?
Well, we were in the living room, perfectly visible. We just waited for everyone to go to sleep, and kept it down just so we wouldn't wake them up, and it was nice and slow.
No, I know, but I mean, see, if I ever have kids that are going to have a, because let's put it this way, I know things, you know?
They're going to have to jump through hoops to do it, okay? That's just your job as parent. You want to let them know that, yes, don't do this. This is forbidden, but I'm not going to completely destroy your good time. Because you don't want them fucking having, a teenage pregnancy,
No,
while they're still in high school. Wait till they're in college to get them to kick it out of school, so that way they have to, like, raise kids now,
I've seen...
At least they're, 18 then, and,
I've seen the fallout of what happens there. I was in, high school or whatever. Although I don't know what they're doing now. They all seem pretty happy, so whatever.
Yeah, well, I've known quite a few, people who got knocked up, in high school and shit, and it's like, they're typically, generally happy they have the kids. I mean, that's one thing about having kids. It's like fucking awesome, Yeah, they're annoying. Yeah, they cry a lot. There's a lot of misery involved, but dear God, does it feel so good. Just to, like, know that, like, you're helping this one grow up,
Mm-hmm. Well, so I've heard. I can't speak from experience yet.
Yeah, but, you'll get there, whatever.
I'm sure I'll still find other kids annoying.
Yes, you will. Your own kids will be fine, even though they annoy the piss out of you. You'll still think it's cute. Oh, look at the way he shit himself. Isn't that cute?
Well, it's the same with talking about girlfriends or whatever. I used to, and I still do, when people mention, oh, and I was with her and with it, but then I do it all the time. So I can only imagine how annoying I am. But hey,
Yeah, you get that.
I make no apologies.
I mean, you know, half my stories where I get just graphic enough so you know how disgusting it was.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Those were the days.
I'm still scarred for life.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You are quite welcome.
Yeah, I still have to get my revenge on you. From you getting revenge on me.
Yeah, but that's nigh impossible because I share all my embarrassing stories on here.
Oh, I will find
oh, God, that was another thing with the girl I'm flirting with now. You know, she got me into this, like, sense of complacency because she was, like, talking to me, like, exactly how, like, my friends do, like you do. So it got me into that sense of complacency where I just started blurting out random shit from my past like it was a Swine Brothers episode. Or like I'm just hanging out shooting the shit with my friends. It's like, oh, wait. This is like, you know, she doesn't know me yet. You know, completely forgetting about that because she had me lulled in that, you know, sense of security, you know, because she was talking to me, you know, just as abrasive as you would. It was great.
I generally, once they start talking like that, I'm like, okay, whatever you get, you get. With Jost, though, I was really nervous because she was, you know, the good Christian girl. Seemingly. So, I told you about the one girl who I thought was sort of, you know, like us, you know, punk metal or whatever. And Jim scares me. I was like, really? Jim scares you? I mean, he might look big, mean, scary, but, you know.
Yeah, here's the first chapter of the book I'm currently working on, which is my autobiography. Oh my God!
Yeah, well, that's when she stopped talking to me. But a couple years before that, she's like, that Jim guy scares me. I'm like, really?
I mean, it can be intimidating if I'm just sitting there in the corner and then I speak this utter truth that shatters your version of reality.
Yeah, you've long ceased to intimidate me.
Well, yeah.
I've known you too long.
You've known me too long. You've had your truth completely ruptured and smashed into smithereens, and then had to rebuild it from what scraps were left.
So but I was like, really? He's he's like a dog.
Yes,
one of
a
those
rather
big
sickly
dogs.
dogs that just snots up and drools on himself.
Well, I can imagine you growling at strangers though, but I can't. Just one of the like.
Oh God, I did a TV shoot this past weekend, and the whole scene was I was supposed to be taking my quote unquote niece and nephew to the haunted hayride, and thanks to things I had done, the hayride was closed. And, so I bitched about it and everything being closed, and I wound up growling at the chick that was closing the place down. And she just ruptured into laughter. She couldn't handle that. Because after I'd gone over the top the whole time, trying to barter everything because the kids are yelling at me, she's telling me everything's a no-go and the kids are yelling more. I'm like,
I couldn't. You growled at me. Did you use the laughing take?
There was one point where I laughed. Yeah.
I couldn't. Anyway, so she was. Meanwhile, Jost, this good Christian girl who knows less about my music than I know about quantum mechanics. Wow, Jim's cool. Make him swear more.
Fuckity fuck 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 fuck.
But yeah, it's just so you can never really tell if people will,
Yeah, you can never tell, but you start, you start the conversation and shit, and that's how everything goes. And then once you know them, you kind of know what the hell to do to, get the romantic thing going, to get that bond thing going, where to go with it, and
Well, we've had great times watching a certain TV show from Pittsburgh, starring you.
Yay. I was romantic. I was bonding people. Was it one of the episodes where I died? Was it one of the episodes where I was in hell? Was it one of the episodes where I was tortured aimlessly? Was I arrested that episode? I've been through a shit ton of horrible fates, and it's great.
By the way, one of the things in Fowley's book, this is 100 favorite movies he likes. And a lot of the movies you've covered on Friday Night Theater, including Don't Look in the Basement, which actually creeped me out a little bit. That movie actually did a good job of creeping me out. Not scaring, but there's something about nearly empty mental hospitals that's always good for a creep.
I was at least up at Mayview before they finally closed it. I think they closed it. They were working on it. And, it was a fucking shell of its former self, because I remember when they had these huge fucking bustling wings filled with, mental patients of different sorts, and they had a children's unit that had 4 separate wings, and the 4th wing was, just where we had our gym class, bouncing on the balls and shit. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
While I was there, first girlfriend I had when I was at Mayview was a nymphomaniac. Oh, God. Now, you have to imagine, okay, this is a girl, who had a couple years experience, doing things before she got locked up. And she's really wanting it all the time. I was a 12-year-old boy who had just started to get the first tinglings of fucking puberty. So she teased me relentlessly for a month before I finally got home and worked the problem out with Dad's magazines, because that's whenever it finally clicked. What those magazines were for. I'd been stealing them for years beforehand, but now I knew. And I was punished quite severely for getting the pages to stick together.
You're right. I can't do anything because you're so open. It's quite annoying.
Oh, yeah.
I will find a story. I will tell it, and you will want to murder me. I will find it.
It just gets harder and harder because I usually just beat you to the punch. It's like, hi, this is a real embarrassing story. When you think about it, my first erection lasted a month. I grew up in a mental institution. My first erection lasted a month. It just gets worse. The more you think of my life story, it sounds like so epic and legendary. But these other things were like just, yeah, it's also kind of really mundane. I mean, the whole reason I didn't work it out while I was in a mental institution, A, I shared a room. B, I was raised Lutheran. So, you know, masturbation, sin, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that the taboo, you know, actually pushed the orgasm even better than it probably should have been. You know, that thought that I'm going to hell for this, you know.
Well, that wasn't me, and that was the MCP breeding incest thing.
I mean,
that was something.
The whole taboo thing is like, you know, where like kink's kind of born, and you always want to play at the edges before you get into the real hardcore shit, because you don't want to start off where you have to use a taser on your balls in order to feel anything.
Well, yeah, Doug Stanhope had a joke about that. Like, eventually, it's gonna get to like just where you're just so like jaded.
Yeah, you never get off because you push the boundaries too far.
Okay, now you put the atomic warhead there.
And then we detonate it, and I can finally get off. As you're vaporized at 0.0.
But that whole thing, there was a part where I was like, I don't know if I should be enjoying this the way I am. And then it just kind of built. I mean, yes, your stories are legendary. Mine's, but the best story I have is at the moment of climax. The blast beat started on Chapel of Ghouls.
Oh God!
It was such perfect timing.
Back when I was younger and more bendable, the fucking girls that were like, okay, that was okay. And I told them, yeah, it was only okay because we weren't listening to my music. So, like, you try going, you know, full tempo with Cannibal Corpse for, you know, half an album. And then see how the girl reacts.
But just think, you couldn't have scripted the timing. It was exactly right on where Pete does the... That's when it happened. It was like, wow, that's the timing was impeccable. And that's unfortunately I think it's kind of epic, but it's not exactly the sordid tales of yours.
No. I mean, fuck, just even, you know, doing things to turn pants off people. And I wasn't even intentionally trying to get the pants off. I was trying to score a date, but that's just kind of how it worked. Because, fucking shit, it was just me bullshitting about all the times I went out and bought booze for underage people. Because I was 21 at the time. I was the first one to turn it, you know. So I was going through stories about, you know, the muck we drudged through, because, like, you know, I'd gone out and bought everyone booze, you know, at this party, and, like, I'm drinking this girl, and, like, that's the conversation. That's what got her going.
Well, you know,
and that was the party that my pants were stolen. And then
oh, yes.
And then my stuttering Dave, he sent his coke whores out to beat the shit out of her.
Well, that's how Dave Mustaine met David Ellis, and like, because, you know, he was playing bass, and Mustaine was hungover, and so he threw a potted plant down the chimney or whatever. So there's a knock on the door. Are you old enough, or do you know where we can get some cigarettes? There's a store down the corner. Leave me alone. Knocks at the gate, and this time Mustaine's like, I'm going to kill these people. Are you old enough to buy beer? Now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's, yeah. I mean, I know people who, you know, would buy for underage. I mean, why not?
Oh,
I mean, would you rather have that, or would you rather have us going and buying something where we could have bought something without an ID? Drugs.
I had recently, spent a day hanging out with he who shall not be named. And his apartment has this no smoking rule, so we had to go outside. And when we went outside, there was a guy obviously smoking a fucking joint. So he went up and said, it smells like a party here, doesn't it? And if the guy had only knew half, not even half, 3% of the things he and I did back in the day, he would have realized there was no problem. But instead, he got all paranoid and pissed off and walked away.
See, that's funny, because the same thing happened at Long Beach. I was there at Long Beach. This is for a race, and I smelled it. But the response I got was, yeah, I give you one, but I'm almost out.
Oh, that's different. This guy was trying to hide it. Like, it was some huge, shameful secret. It's like, we obviously know what the fuck's going on. We don't care,
Why would you hide weed? You can smell. Yeah.
I don't know what the guy's problem was, but it was like, oh, God. And it's like, if you only knew 0.3% of the things we did.
And besides, you said it smells like a party. You didn't say you're going to get busted. You said, hey, someone's having a good time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said along
and hell, that's old school speak trying to say, hey, you selling? Yeah.
But
he wasn't even trying to, buy, or anything, or even get any. Just, let him know that everything was cool. But, no, he got all paranoid and ran away.
But by the way, Jim, you said something a couple weeks ago on the show about kids going in the back door and how that's usually code for buying drugs. So I told someone that, and they did not believe me.
Dude.
I knew it.
And the worst part was these people would drive and park 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
And they'd walk the rest of the way. It's like, oh, they're just trying not to disturb people. Yeah, because they're buying drugs.
Why? Yeah, they're trying to disturb people. Walking 2 blocks. They're just really courteous.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas having your hood up.
The hood of your car up, that's obviously a sign that someone's selling drugs. No, it's a sign someone's working on their fucking car. What, are you so lack for do-it-yourselfers that, you think everyone just takes it to the damn garage every time? Oh, God.
And some people like to buy cars and work on them. Some people like to, trick them out or whatever.
Oh, hell, there's people that make it a hobby where they go out, buy a classic, restore it, then sell it. So they can buy another classic, restore it, and sell it just because they like working on cars.
Yes.
Some people actually do find work of certain types to be a hobby.
Well, yes, and a fun hobby. It's others buy cars, restore them, and then drive them. I know one who has a '69 Mustang. We call it a resto mod because it's modern in some way, which really makes I think a restored yet updated '69 Mustang would be a lot more fun to drive than an original '69 Mustang. The suspension's gotta suck. Oh yeah, and if you get into a crash, you're dead. But
oh hell, we had a wild wake up call for a couple of the kids whenever we were doing the TV shoot on Sunday, because a lot of people seem to think, oh, you just go out there, say your words, it's all good. You realize that you're trying to get multiple takes. Sometimes there's technical difficulties. There's actually a lot more work than just go out there, say things, and you're done.
Yep.
So it's actual work.
Yep, I know that, and that's.
And some people just get so pissed off. It's like, why the hell do I have to say these lines 33 times? Because the take wasn't good enough, or we only have one camera and we need 13 angles. I
have to work on that. That is something I do have to work on. Is I always hated doing things over again. That's if you were to say, wow, that was a really good moment, but I didn't get that on tape. Can we do it again? Unless it's for a show, but a lot of times the spontaneity will be lost.
Yeah, but not everything is like spontaneity, especially if you're acting on a part.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Ad lib is simply, you're making things kind of up on the spot, though you have a general idea what you're doing.
Yes.
That's basically what it is, and that's mostly what we do on Fright Night Theater, yet, we take multiple takes because sometimes it didn't turn out the way we want, or we had technical difficulties and all this shit.
Oh yeah, no, I think I'd be better at that if I was, doing an acting thing. But like sometimes on the show or the interview with Anarcha or whatever, he was like, "Oh, I want to do it shorter. Can we do it?" And the magic was gone. I was just because I was saying pre-planned things now, whereas acting, doing something like that where you ad lib, you know what's going on. You can change some things, and we did that in drama class. I had to learn how to not stick to the script, but I had to learn to not go off the rails so much. Here's a plot, right? Here's where the plot will be leading, right? So you have this outline of where, okay, you're an alien and you will end up killing Jim. But we don't know how you'll end up killing Jim yet.
Right.
I do.
Everyone knows.
Well, yeah, I agree that everything, but everything can be romantic. Do you remember that necrophagia thing we watched a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah. I sent that to the girl I'm flirting with now, so.
I've sent it to the girl I'm talking to now, and she said, "That's very sweet."
She said, her reply was, "I think I watched this a couple years ago." Which was kind of cute.
Good. Yeah. I after Killjoy died, I remember reading about it, and I was like, I gotta find this and then watch it with Jim just to see what happens. Then it was a day where I was feeling kind of down, and we hung out, and I played it for him, and you were like, "Wow,
this is awesome! I must bootleg it now before they take it off YouTube."
Yes, that's why we're not giving you the title of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can look it up if you can look it up if you know. But yeah, talking about starting our own cults can be romantic.
Yeah, I've done that. Fuck, like I said, it's all about getting the bond going and shit, and feeling closer, and maybe wanting to snuggle, maybe wanting to get bitch slapped. I don't know.
I told you about the game we were playing where I completely stabbed her in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And turned her over to a cult.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's a high member of the cult. And she's grateful to me for, making her see the truth. But she also wants to kill me. Well, not kill me, torture me, because she knows that I didn't do it out of anything other than cowardice. But yet we had a great time talking about it together. It was... there was no, but someone, wait, so she hates you now? I'm like, it's a game.
Yeah, do you know how role-playing games are? God, fucking shit.
She was a little annoyed, but she was like, I was like, did you expect this? And she was like, from you? Oh, yeah.
I'm fucking in some of these Dungeons and Dragons groups, and we got, some of these people in there crying, "Oh my god, murder hobos are so bad." Meanwhile, I'm thinking, dear god, murder hobos are a blessing. That the fucking campaign writes itself. All you gotta do is keep up thinking, how are people going to react to this? You don't just sit there Grand Theft Auto with all the wanted cheats, on, so that way no one ever gets a wanted level, and they always get away with anything. No. You have to think of consequences. Are they going to get away with this? And there's a whole thought process behind it, Is there a believable scapegoat? Is there any way that, this could be just pinned on someone else and no one's going to hire a diviner to go and see what the fuck really happened? Okay?
Yeah.
Because, and are the people rich enough to hire a diviner? Are they important enough to the town that they would pull together resources to hire a diviner, if there isn't an easy scapegoat? And then just this huge line of shit,
yeah, people. But I, we grew closer from that. I mean, we had fun, and yeah, she's like, yeah, I expected it, and there was a little. It changed my plans, but I was like, okay, now I'm playing as an evil, cultist. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get to make your life miserable. Did she ever? Now I'm on the run.
And the whole thing is, in PvP, you're still best friends after that, or lovers, or whatever after that. It's just, you did something in character to piss off their character while they're in character. So now you're doing things to either screw each other over or kill each other. Or, or
and
if you're playing,
laughing about it.
Or if you're playing an evil campaign, you're always looking for subtle ways to screw everyone else over, so that way you come out ahead. And it's just like, this huge line of like, where am I going to draw it here? Because I need these people as pansies to progress my own goals, but at the same time, I don't want them to be glorified above me. And that's your typical evil campaign where it's like. And you just wait for the daggers to fall and all the backstabbing, and dear God, the backroom deals with the DM has to compute the whole thing.
Also, there's one thing, is that her character doesn't hate me. In fact, she's still in love. But she just wants to, convert me to what she believes. And also wants to make me pay for completely selling her out. Which I didn't do out of hatred. I did it because, oh God, the cult's after me, and I want to escape, so I did the first coward, super cowardly, and Jim's like, oh great, you did it again, where you didn't actually plan anything out, you just sort of...
That's great. Sometimes that's where the fun is.
Yes, but now I'm on the run, working with an anti-cult extremist, and,
That's not going to end well for you.
Because, Jim, guess who the new sheriff in the town is?
Yay! Just what you deserve.
And guess who the now governor is?
Oh, good.
Of the state.
Good.
Yes.
Just what you needed.
So I have to go to the backwoods, because before I just had to leave the city. Now I have to, build a cabin and
live on the fringes and try to leave no traces to your whereabouts, because you're fucked. You're continually fucked in ways that you've never been fucked before.
Oh, I'm not going to be killed, but she said I have to live as a drone for 5 years.
Yeah, so it'll be like, they took the 5-inch fucking drill bit with the sharp edges and just jammed it right up your rectal orifice and then turned it on every now and then just to let you know it's there and painfully aware, and then pull it out and then patch you up.
I asked the DM, so the whole drone thing, are we just going to gloss over that? He's like, after what you did, nah, I want to see you squirm. That's another part that I hate is, once you're a thrall, you just have to skip, you don't get a turn. It's like, no.
How do you interpret the fucking what you're told, Because you could be told, okay, I want you to go blow this place up. Now, you could be the good guy and try to evacuate people out of the building before you blow it up, or do it in such a way that you obviously are going to get busted because it's way too blatant. Or, you can interpret it in ways where, only part of it collapses, or, the explosion only took out, 3 people, or you devastated half the city, taking out one thing, including the place that you were working for,
Well, that's the thing. I'm not going to have any, free will, but I'm going to have my own personality still in there. So, that was an idea I took from this one where they were drones, but they had the original personality. So if you were lazy, you would skimp on something, or if you were, my favorite line ever was when they were asking for homework because it was a drone classroom, and you know how drones talk, this unit, or rather than saying I or my or whatever, and the quote, "Where's your homework? This unit's dog ate it."
Yeah, the unit's dog ate it.
Yes, so you have no personality, but you have no you have no free will or whatever, but you still have your original personality. So you're lazy and forgot to do your homework because that's who you are, but you're also a drone. So yeah, I'm going to have choices, but I also have to do exactly what
you're told.
Yes.
It's just how you interpret what you're told. The less specific they are, the more room you have to operate of your own volition.
Exactly. Well, that was with me with the vampire's thrall. I was in a thrall to a vampiress.
Mm-hmm.
And I built her army up. I became her... I don't know if husband's the right word. More like, fuck slave.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Pretty much. But, and even talking about that, I mean, the girl I'm with now was very interested in our D&D exploits.
Oh, God. She should hear about the adventures of Boink the Destroyer, Torn Tree Popper, and Wolfen. And the UNT I can't remember the name of because it was like one of those obscurish kind of names that wasn't catchy enough.
She didn't watch all of it because there's a bunch of different videos and they're spread out over like 2 channels. But I did explain to her pretty much everything we did. And she's, wait, why did you do that? And I was like, good question. I was thinking that and I came up with this. Why did you do that? Good question. I came up with this rationalization. Why did you do that? Good question.
Everything's like, thinking back, why did he do that? I don't know. It's boring to say. It just felt like the right thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
So you come up with a justification after the fact.
Well, that's where the voices came in. Because you made a throwaway joke about he's listening to the voices in his head. And that's, well, why did Valorous become evil? It would be stupid. Well, I play evil, that's why. No. We have to be, so that's...
And it just evolved into sexually transmitted religion.
Which I believe was a 3 o'clock conversation after the... was that after the Supercross race? I think that might have been... We had done... Well, I know we had done something after the Supercross race. And... but anyway, it was after we played and we were off microphone just talking about... And I came up with the idea of sexually transmitted religion. I think I had a couple beers, to be honest.
Well, we both came up with it. I don't know who dropped that it was everything that it became. But, we just started running off the rails of, how it was transmitted,
I was the first one to suggest. I remember I was the first one to talk about sexual, and you ran with it.
So now you listen to the voices in your head, which try to compel you to always worship chaos and evil, and do all the things that are chaotic evil. And
it can be spread, which is why I love that the elf who was so against the voices now has it.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually pretty good. I mean, it was half-heartedly done, but that was actually pretty good character where all of a sudden she turns on me and she's horrified by the voices and what I want to do with the kid's mother and things like that. And now, later on, the elf is...
part of the voices.
Yes, which I think is...
Because her last boyfriend was a dragon that kicked her out, so now you have to destroy his entire family. Girl I'm with Mel, whose name I wish I could say, she thought that was amazing. She actually did think that was romantic. Running around and destroying an entire family of an ex, including the ex.
This is what I will do to you if you leave me.
Yes, how romantic and obsessive.
I think the dragon might have a point. This is why I left you. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, how about killing the sister?
Mm-hmm.
That was just so evil.
Yeah. Just happened to be, living on an island nearby. Why not? And you got introduced to the pirates who fuck everything.
Yes.
We are the pirates who fuck everything. We just run around with our pants down. And if you ask us if we fuck anything, we will tell you we fuck everything.
I have a guy with an amazing, bass voice. I know a guy, and I want him to sing in all "We are the pirates who fuck everything." It's like getting Chaz to read Time Cube. Now, the way you did it was hilarious with your voice, but listening to 4 simultaneous days and 1 single Earth rotation, just him reading completely serious. You are belly button stupid logic. Your logic is belly button stupid.
Exactly.
I mean, there's see, I like it both ways. I like your madness voice, but I also like just read it completely,
as if this is, scientific proof now. You must believe in the Time Cube.
Yes, but I mean, yeah. So both were. I mean, I loved a British friend and getting him to read like early NASCAR drivers' interviews. I ain't got no idea what the son of a bitch was up to. I don't know what his deal was. Node. Not new, node.
Yeah.
What his deal was. Yeah, I love doing. Of course, everyone gets. Of course, getting Mario and Andretti to read rap lyrics as Dinner with Racers did, that was very funny. Bob Jenkins as well. Getting these famous racing guys to read lyrics about hoes and all the hoes in the hood say what.
That's great.
But so I remember when she loved Time Cube, obviously.
Oh yeah, I had a girlfriend that fucking loved Time Cube.
I can't find the episode where you and your then girlfriend were in the same room, so your microphone echoed horribly.
Yeah.
And that's when I introduced you to Time Cube. And meanwhile, your girlfriend's like half laughing, half telling me to stop.
Because she was going to die from laughter. Because I just owned it like, there are 4 simultaneous days in a single Earth rotation. Oh yeah, it was like, I'm trying to find that episode. It's one of the PTR episodes. Did you know we did 68 PTR episodes? I thought it was like 40, but apparently it was 68. Damn.
Weird.
Well, it's also weird that we're almost at 200, and so far I've only noticed 2 of our episodes getting shadow banned.
Yeah, so that's if you're on the show, if you're on the channel, and you see a couple numbers skipped, that is not my idiocy. That is actually not. They're still up on YouTube. I can access them, but no one else can. I did not get an email about them being banned. I did not get notification in any way. They just can't be found. It says video unavailable. I don't know what the hell's up with that.
Yeah.
I've asked YouTube about it and got no answer.
Oh, no one gets any answer from YouTube because that's how they have to operate.
No. I got a reply about one thing. I got a reply about about how to use, how to stream. And they were saying, well, download webcam software. I was like, fuck you, I don't want to. Anyway, so I did get it. I have gotten a couple replies, but I asked because I've literally never seen this before where the video's not taken down. I'm just the only one who has access to it. And you think they give us I send you all the copyright strike emails we get. You've been blocked in North Korea, Syria.
That's
Iran.
awesome, being banned in so many countries.
Yes, 28 countries once.
Mm-hmm.
Although
a mark of pride.
Although, I have to confess, I pussied out and appealed, and we actually won that appeal.
Yeah.
I know, but come on.
Exactly.
You would have too. But, so, yes, so 2 of our episodes are kind of not there, so that's
I still want to be officially condemned by a government.
Well, like Jeremy Clarkson has been condemned by so many governments for comments. I want to be condemned by a government. I want to be excommunicated, actually.
Yes, excommunication would be fun.
I think I was baptized. Yeah, I was baptized, so I could be excommunicated. Hey, Pope, Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com.
Yeah, there we go. You've
Stop
been formally
fucking
excommunicated.
Oh, now we're gonna get banned. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's make it worse by having ourselves some music.
Let's do that.
right. That first one was Dream Death with Black Edifice.
From the Journey into Mystery album in 1988. Funny story about that album, actually. Not about the album, but about my acquisition of it. Either 2012 or 2013, I held a birthday show for me, both years, in my basically backyard. And one of the guys from Social Overload, I don't remember which year it was, but anyway, the guy from Social Overload, which was a local band, I think we played him here, was telling me how great that album is. Was telling me, you know, how it's such an amazing album. I was like, cool, I'll look it up. It didn't slip my mind. I was busy. Anyway, a couple months later, we found it at Amoeba for $1 on cassette. I think it was like one of the first ever tapes I'd ever bought. And oh my goat, he was right. It is such an amazing album. That band is from Pittsburgh. They brought Deceased over to Pittsburgh in '88. There's a soundboard of that show.
Ah, cool. The next song was Whiplash with Message in Blood.
All right. I admit it. I was heavily inspired by Mr. Fowley for some of these. This is Power and Pain, which we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. I'm so predictable, I know, but it's also just a great album. Power and Pain, such a great album. It definitely lives up to its name, Whiplash, and brings plenty of power and pain. I was just thinking about being excommunicated because we were just talking about that, and I remember there was a king of England who was excommunicated by the Pope, and so he excommunicated the Pope, which is impossible, of course, but it's no, you're excommunicated. If I want that, I want to excommunicate the Pope from Swine Brothers.
There we go. I was just thinking, you were talking about King and fucking, how much of his book was seemed like a positive influence and shit. And I was just recently called a positive influence. And we're talking about a guy that fucking used to shoplift gifts for his girlfriends because I was too broke to buy it, so I just shoplifted it. And I'd also fill out the damn fucking credit card reports to get the free toy. Sign up for another credit card, get the free stuffed animal, give it as a gift. And
nice.
And then, then all of a sudden, all the drug sales and all the other fucking shit I did over the years, it's just I had to sit there and ask, how the fuck was I even considered a positive influence until it's well, look at the fucking shit I actually do today, It's I try to tell people, guide them closer to being the best they can be. I'm not here sitting there saying, oh wow, you have to be a specific way. Just, move yourself towards, a place you think is better. Take that first step, If you gotta take baby steps from the wading pool to the deep end, do it, You don't have to be like me, jump off a fucking bridge to get over your fucking fear of heights.
You've heard stories about King. You've heard the motor oil story. You've heard the time he was so hopped up on PCP, he wanted to I think it was break into the school. You've heard that he tried to sexually ravish a swordfish once. You heard, he spent 10 years stealing CDs for people, for stores, and then the stores he was stealing from would give him lists of other things to steal from. You've heard all the... He got so drunk, he was at an IHOP.
Mm-hmm.
And there were these women eating pasta, and he called them names because, you're at IHOP and eating spaghetti or whatever, which I've done, by the way. So the restaurant throws him out because he's being, a drunken asshole. He puts his dick on the window next to the girls and screams, "Try the white sauce!"
Oh, God.
Which now, every time somebody says, "Try the white sauce," I'm going to burst out laughing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Those are things even you haven't done.
Yeah. The closest I got to the one thing was screaming, "I've discovered myself," and pissed off the top of an overpass. And I couldn't have timed it. If I was even attempting to time it, it would have never worked. But it just so happened a fucking convertible passed under at that time. We got chased up the hill and had to hide in the woods and shit.
I mean, and it's not like his friends didn't know he was an asshole. Yeah, in his book, every chapter is his story, but at the end they have 2 or 3 or 4 reminiscences of King, which usually doesn't work, but actually here it does. Everything from his family, his current wife, his now wife, his family and friends. And yeah, his friends were like, yeah, with Drunken King, he was an asshole. He would do things and he would have these mood swings where you never quite knew what he was going to do next or things like that. But the thing is, he got over it, and I mean, it wasn't like, he said in the interview that he went cold turkey, when he quit drugs. I'm not spoiling. I mean, I see. Okay, the whole thing about King's book is I could tell you the entire book and it'd still not spoil it because you have to read it the way he said it. So I'll just tell you, he spent a year suffering from 87 to 88 to the point where he could only eat certain types of foods. Like he would obsess over, like one month it would be like spaghetti, and then the other month was tater tots. I think his 19th birthday cake was just tater tots because that's all he wanted to eat. Because it was just the paranoia, and he says he's still suffering. He still has this feeling of dread in him that he did not have before he started doing drugs. But the thing is, he overcame it. The stroke, I mean, he fucked up his left side to the point where, he can play drums, but I'm sure you heard Jim. He was like, okay, we got to do this in one day because, my left side's going to be fucked for a week.
Mm-hmm.
But when he had his stroke, did he say, you know what, I'm done. I'm gonna go lay in bed for the rest of my life, and no, he started working out, and he could ran 5 miles along the beach, and he still performs. He quit drinking because he realized that it was ruining his life, and he liked life more than he liked getting wasted. You bounced back from all sorts of horrible things. I think that's what real positivity is. Positivity is not, oh, what a beautiful day, I have no troubles in the world. Positivity is, looking back at your past and seeing how many mistakes you've made, but also realizing that you've bettered yourself. And that's positive for someone like me, who's several years younger, who went down a similar path, but has something to look up to, not just, you got to get sober and then become a Christian and then denounce everything you've ever known and start talking about how metal is actually the devil and how black metal's using secret.
Yeah, that's fitting someone else's mold, not your own. I mean,
I'm not lying. That there was a thing where a black metal girl was arrested for something, converted to Christianity, and then 5 years later was writing in a Christian news magazine how black metal used satanic images to summon demons to corrupt the youth.
Oh, joy, such fun.
So, but the thing is, I'll be honest, King has been a great influence. Just listening to how he bounced back without without the usual cliches of, oh, then I found the Lord, or then, and I had, he did say he had to cut some people out of his life because, when he was on drugs, because they were going to destroy him,
Yeah, I mean, whenever I felt my daughter kick for the first time, there were a lot of people I cut out of my life. I kept, 5 of them. And, those were the people I could be around when I was sober, Those were the friends I kept. The other ones, that I couldn't be around them unless I was tanked. So, it made sense to cut them out. And they ended up doing worse shit, no ODing or fucking,
going to prison or whatever.
Going to prison. Or get, like you said, oh no, now I'm with the Lord and everything I did was wrong and it's all your fault. No, you chose to do this.
Yep. So, that's what I think positivity is. It's someone who can bounce back from all that and can, but yet,
I mean, fuck. I was, the last time I went homeless, okay, lost everything, including rights to my own children. I still haven't given up hope in finding my kids. I got my act straight enough to, slowly build myself up. Ended up getting an apartment for myself before I moved in with the last girlfriend, before I bounced back into my aunt's because it's cheaper rent. You know. But, you know, it's like fucking... You know, I clawed my way up from having literally nothing but the clothes on my back, and that was even questionable at times, to like fucking, you know, from under a bridge into a shelter, into, you know, an apartment where we were essentially squatting for the first month before the landlord decided to, you know, get the electricity hooked up.
Yep.
Legally hooked up instead of, you know, fucking stealing it.
Well, and look at King. He's still playing music. He's still as metal as ever, even though we may disagree on music. That was another thing about the book, is how many people made fun of him for, you know.
I mean, hell, you know, while I was still going through everything and building myself back up, I wound up bumping into Harry Metz, a.k.a. the Spooky Spectre from Fright Night Theater. And, you know, I reconnected with him, you know, throughout this, so I went back into acting, you know. Even at a low point in my life, I, you know, kept trying to plug everything away, you know.
Yep. That was something I thought was hilarious about the book, by the way, is how many people, you know, made you know, gentle fun about the fact that, you know, there's some bands he hates and they don't understand why, and also that he likes No Doubt, which I have to make fun of.
Well, there you go. I like me a spot of No Doubt every now and then.
Yeah, well,
I forget which songs I actually liked because it's been a while, but yeah.
She was hot, but that's all. Well, but
you were told.
What?
You were told. I doubt you got the chance to grope to find out yourself.
Well, anyway, well, yeah, well, of course.
Oh, come on, I had to make the blind joke. It was obvious that time.
Do you hear the sound of the chainsaw launcher coming towards you?
Yes, it's glorious. The chainsaw launcher is my invention. Mine! Except for the other guy that actually drew up blueprints for it.
Yes, but I stole the patent from you.
Ah, go fuck yourself.
I betray you. But no, so the point is that he's still kicking ass. He's still up there. He's, you know, and you're still doing what you're doing, whatever the hell it is you do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's a lot more positive than, in my experience, most people who constantly want to smile and want everything to be roses have much bigger skeletons or much bigger problems.
And God, people surround themselves with sycophants that kiss their ass instead of actual friends. Because actual friends will poke fun of you at your fucking flaws, you know. And, you know, you either roll with it or you change, you know. And because they've already accepted you in spite of your flaws, it's just how friends operate, you know.
Yes.
Like I always tell Elliot how impulsive he can be, and that's part of his downfall. Plan a little bit.
or as I tell Jim, you have some of the worst ideas because you have ideas and you tell me, and I'm like, this needs a lot of work at best.
Yeah. Before
it can be worked. There's like a germ of an idea here, but it's terrible right now.
Yeah, well, good. I need that, because that way I could write better. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but also some of your ideas, I'm like, Jim, that's a little too politician-y, because I know that'll piss you off.
Yeah, I fucking hate politics.
I know that's exactly how, it's not like it's not true, but I know that will communicate exactly what I think. Jim, this idea is too politician-y. Oh, fuck, now I have to...
do all this stupid shit to fuck.
Yes, whereas, yes, I could be impulsive. I could be... Some chick says, set the statue on fire. Okay.
Titties. Fire. I'm on fire. Why am I on fire? The statue is supposed to go up, not me.
See, I am a firm believer that pussy power exists.
Yes, it does.
Again, what was my first my first move was to set the statue on fire. Why did I set the statue on fire?
Poon. Pure, plain, simple poon. Ah, she pretty. Go set statue on fire.
Yes. Yes, she said it, and Valorous, I want some of that elf pussy. And then, it's not like he didn't care, he was just too busy with other things.
Yeah.
Because Valorous wasn't the best at, communication.
No. Somehow I kept getting away with shit, but he wasn't good at a lot of it.
Well, now he has Vorka who can actually communicate when she's not eating her own kids.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then some escape.
Yes. They have to crawl from the whelping pen.
Yes. So, and, so there's a future generation of Valorous Vorka hybrids, but yes, most of them get eaten.
Yes. Oh, God.
I didn't come up with that, by the way. That was the girlfriend.
Yes, that's good.
But so the thing about positivity is, it's also about a language you can understand. For me, this is positive, and I think King's book would be positive for most people, but for other people,
look at all the bad, vile things he did. And those people get stuck in this fucking, socialist kind of mindset, yuppie kind of mindset, where it's like you can't be forgiven for any past wrongs, because once you did something, you're always that thing.
Yep.
You can't change as you mature, because, it's the same damn thing with both those groups. It's all about, backstabbing your way to the fucking top.
Yep.
So that way you're the one in charge.
Until, of course...
Or you're the one that's famous, or whatever the fuck you're going for.
Until someone digs your skeletons out of the closet.
And then you get destroyed for it. Yes, I'm a pure socialist. That's why, thanks to you, I went from living at my parents' house to $1 million apartment. Hey, why are you leaving?
That's why I like King, that he doesn't... he's told us, story, and there's stories in his book, he wasn't... He did things that if I knew him, I wouldn't, fall out with him over it, but I'd like, yeah, that was a scummy thing to do. Yeah. And I would tell him that. And I would, and I told you, he... So, and he would admit it today, which, if, and I'm sure if you knew me back then, you would tell me, okay, now you're going a little bit too far. I'm just going to stay home. Have fun owning a human spine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like, that's a bit too far for me. My friends had to tell me, when things were starting to go from aggravated assault into attempted murder, and that maybe I should start beating on the guy. Because I was too whacked out of my skull to realize, fights aren't to the death. They're usually just to assert dominance. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just go away now.
I think I know where it is still. So,
oh, God.
There you go.
The human spine. He's pulling a Sub-Zero on us. Or a chiropractum was the Mad Magazine version of it. Where they rip out your spine, give you a full spinal realignment, then jam it back in.
Yes, I think I know where it is still. I don't have it.
That might be a good thing, eh?
Categorically state that I don't have it.
That's part of the reason why we use the vernacular here on our show, because, we did these things.
Allegedly.
Yeah, some of them allegedly. Others I just flat out and say. Because, the statute's well passed, but it's like, why the fuck hide it? There's a lesson to be learned here. And it's like, how far you can take things, and when you should probably think about getting out. Kids are always a good reason to get out, because you do want to set a good example for them. But you don't want to get so focused on setting the damn good example, you sell yourself out and start doing some stupid things like trust the government. Never trust the government.
I still like the one story I told where I said, I wasn't there, officially. Mm-hmm. And when I told you the story, you're like, yeah, you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was not there.
But you see, that's not so much saying, hey, get sober. It's like, yeah, you'll do things in your own time if you decide to, or maybe you'll just, tone back, which is good, stick with the pot, that's usually a good thing to do.
Some people can't, so I'm one of the few, I can have a beer or 2 beers and, just end it there. Or I can, have 12 and start drooling on myself. Other people can't, some people, they like to, reading King's book, 80 lines of coke a night.
Yeah. I mean, I'm nowhere near my fucking good old days where I could do a beer bong filled to the brim with Vladimir vodka. Oh, God, I can't even go near that stuff, let alone, doing a beer bong filled with a half gallon.
80 lines.
Yeah, that's way more than anyone I've ever seen.
And he only stopped. Because he ran out. He didn't stop because he just.
Mm-hmm. But there's a certain point where the whole thing is just don't die. That way you can live to see the other parts of life. And sure, some of it sucks. A lot of it's boring. But then there's the really cool parts that happen later. Then you get all these cool memories. You could sit there on your porch. I was your age. There was a time and a place where me and my friend were tripping on 6 hits of acid each, and we had a sword fight in my backyard. And we only quit because I started taking it too seriously.
There was a time where I once... So, a friend gave me a paper for later. He said, here, this is, for later. It was a paper, and he explained how it worked or whatever. You put it on your tongue, right? And I was like, yeah, tongue. Of course, I didn't know anything about this. It's like, yeah, you put it on your tongue. I didn't realize there were circles marked out, so I put the whole paper on my tongue. Mm-hmm. So the guy goes, hey, where's the paper? Did you bring the? And I was like, oh, I did it already. He's like, what do you mean? Did you did like a hit? You left the paper because it was kind of hoping we'd share, but if not, whatever. He's like, so what? You did a hit and you left the paper at home? I was like, what do you mean left the paper at home? What do you mean? What do you mean left the paper at home? Yeah, well, what do you mean? I left the paper at home. I put it on my tongue. You took the one circle, right? It was a square. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no. He had this. Oh shit. So,
yeah, Stern was the first one to get me on acid, and he had cut them into doubles, and he said something about there's 2 doubles in there, blah blah, and I wasn't familiar enough to know what the hell was going on. I just knew I was supposed to get 2 hits, and there were 2 pieces of paper in there. So I ate them both. And he's like, okay, where's the 2 hits for my friend? It's like, what? There were only 2 hits there. It's like, I cut them into doubles. Oh my god, you're going to be in for a good time. I'm going to have to babysit your ass. And that was the day I discovered the meaning of life. Then forgot it after drinking the orange Julius with a cigarette butt in it.
So... I'm in there, and there's traffic, like a freeway kind of by the house. All of a sudden, join us. The traffic's telling me to join it, and the wall started telling me this story of the house. But the weird thing is, I actually remember thinking it was actual words, and they involved pancakes. Oh. I think I told you this story before, but the first time I'd ever got high, Puke, the late great Johnny Puke, gave me pills, and he explained to me what they were, but I wasn't listening,
Yeah.
They were safe. You know, they were just. He's like, "You've done this before, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Oh my god, no." So anyway, about 45 minutes later, nothing's happening. At least that's what I think. Nothing's happening. So I'm going to tell Puke that it's not working at all. I think about it. I said, I'm going to tell Puke that it's not working. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I keep thinking about it. And finally, after what seems about, I don't know, 5 geological ages, I open my mouth and go, "Dude, I don't think it's working." And at that point, I hear my voice and go, What I didn't know was Puke had gone to the store to get food 20 minutes ago and left Pretty in Pink in charge. Anyone who's a longtime fan of the show will know who Pretty in Pink is.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something to the effect, I only heard this later. I told him I was going to the store about 10 times and he didn't respond. Just keep an eye out for him. Just keep an eye on him.
Yes.
And so after that, we were listening to Merciful Fate, and it was like Satan was trying to tell me something through the music.
Oh joy.
But yes, that was the first time I'd ever but yeah, I was like, it's not working. I'm gonna tell him. I should really probably tell him right now. I'm going to tell him. You know, you think about it. I'm sure it was only about 10 minutes, but it felt like 5 years. I actually felt the aging. It was like, wait, the world just ended and I still haven't told him. So clearly I was out of my gourd. So,
your gourd. It reminds me of the first time I got Jeff high. Oh, rest his soul. We went out in the middle of the woods and I just scored some pot. And, middle of the woods, we took a pop can, punctured holes in it, smoked out of it. And he's like, I don't feel shit. This is fake. Hold on, dude. It's Creeper. It'll hit you in a moment. This is fake. He stood up.
Yes.
Then a nanosecond later, he fell back down on his ass laughing. And I'm just sitting there laughing at him. See, I told you.
The first time I ever smoked pot was with my sister's friends and her. And we were just hanging out, and I had a couple beers, and they passed, hey, have you ever done, he's a little brother, he's blind or whatever, let's try to get it. So I did it, and it was, I didn't cough or anything, although I recently smoked and coughed up about, I think I coughed out a lung because I was so, I hadn't done it in so many years or whatever. But anyway, so I smoked, and it was, and I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel drunk. I'd have a couple beers, maybe some tequila or whatever. Anyway, I stood up because I was going to eat some hot dogs, raw hot dogs. I don't know why I didn't cook them. So I'm not feeling anything. I stand up. Whoa. Of course, I still do. Weed's legal here, so you can get it, edibles or whatever. I still do things, and I'm sure when I start typing very strange, Jim's like, oh god. A couple Friday.
I've been picking up on when you are half the time, and the other half the time you just blatantly tell me you are because you're too paranoid that I'm going to find out anyway.
Actually, well, sometimes other times I'm just laughing. Hey Jim, I'm high.
Oh, that's good.
I don't care if you find out. It's not like I care if you find out. It's more just like, hey, I'm high. So anyway, a couple Fridays ago, I think this is about, 1 or 2 weeks ago, I had some, and they were really strong, and they lasted about 12 hours. Anyway, I was listening to a band called Slapshot, which is Choke from Negative Effects' post-Negative Effects band. Great band, by the way. Anyway, I was out of my gourd. My gourd could not be located. It was in another dimension. I started thinking, where did I first hear about Slapshot? Because my friend sent me a Slapshot CD of their first album, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd heard of them before, but I couldn't place where I'd heard them. And my brain suddenly like it was like having another person. Maybe you've never heard of Slapshot. And I was like, maybe I've never heard of Slapshot. Wait, stop. You are high. No, calm down. So I almost brainwashed myself while listening to a band that I'd never heard of them.
That's great.
That was the day. So my girlfriend and I were going to watch some horror movies together, as we do, as you know. Yeah. And I said, hey, I have some edibles, and I'm going to be high. She doesn't really do stuff like that. Every now and then, but she's like, okay, cool. Just try not to have a bad. She's guided people through bad. You can have bad weed trips, especially if you get too much. And she's like, I remember guiding my friends through things where they started, them and they. I'm sure you know who them and they are.
Oh, yes, my aunt knew them and they well.
So I heard that, and I was assuring her, no, I'm not going to do that. Right? This is when I was sober. So when she logs on to where we were going to stream, because we weren't doing this together because she lives far away. Not that far away, but anyway, my first thing, I wasn't trying to be an asshole, okay? I was actually trying to be funny, but my first thing when I said was, you're one of them, aren't you? Now, you have to think what she's thinking right now.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm going to have to babysit him. Mm-hmm. So I start laughing. No, it's a joke. She doesn't say anything about it because she knows you can't. I have this weird thing where if you tell me something pissed you off when I'm stoned, it's like I just lost both world wars. Mm-hmm. It destroys my entire night. It's like I have done the worst thing ever. I have invented every deadly disease known to man, lost both world wars, and pissed in the Pope's face. Which actually the last one would be kind of cool, but so anyway. So she doesn't say anything. She's very funny. So we watched the movie, and the next day she's like, by the way, what was that about one of them? I was like, I was just trying to be funny. And she's like, oh, so you weren't trying to be an asshole. And she explained, and I was like, oops. So I'm an accidental asshole when I'm stoned, which I'm sure that's everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I've had my days, but then like when I was hanging out with He Who Shall Not Be Named, he took me up to the casino, and like I started started drinking, and as we're going through the night, I actually won some money, so I start acting like Mr. High Roller. Here, have some money, and I'm buying the drinks all night long, and I paid for he paid for the first round because I'm a poor broke bastard, but then after that, when I won the money, I start paying for everything. I still have plenty left over to pay my bills. It's just
Yes, but the thing is, like, I thought, because I have to just stress this one more time for people who maybe don't know how pot works. My gourd was in another dimension from my actual brain, so I thought she'd laugh. I thought she'd get the joke because again, I was out of my mind. So I thought it was hilarious, but she was like, "No, I mean, she wasn't like pissed off, like But she was just like, oh, God, I'm going to have to babysit him. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, he's joking. Okay. Because she's, I mean, it's not fun if you have to babysit someone like that.
Yeah, I know.
If they're having fun, it could be kind of fun watching them be idiotic. But if they're paranoid, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure your friends have, if you're having fun, I'm sure they kind of find it fun watching you. Oh, haha, he's... But if you're paranoid and thinking about them and they, it's like, oh, kill me now.
See, I didn't get like that. I always tried to force myself to be in that good mood so that the worst I'd be is an idiot and they'd get to laugh. That's one of my things, too. It's one of the reasons why I don't really drink or do anything. Because there's no one to hang out with to, either bullshit with or, laugh at me because I'm going to be a moron now.
You were hilarious when you used to call drunk. I want to hear some thrash. I want to hear some death. I want to hear some thrash metal.
And then that was the time and then I trail off into 3 different stories that just sort of collide.
Yes. Well, no, you on codeine was really funny. The cat likes to suck my thumb like it's a nipple. So me and a couple other people who were there were just having a conversation, and he would chime in every 5 minutes and reduce us to helpless laughter.
Oh, joy.
And you don't remember that, apparently.
No, I don't.
You were with it to log on to, because he had a bunch of streaming problems. You were with it enough to log on to like 4 different things, but...
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was doing, or any of that bullshit.
I've heard it recently. It was hilarious.
Oh, God. Which episode was it?
It was one of the Metal Gate episodes. There was like 4 parts to it because they kept having computer problems or streaming problems. So we'd have to like log back in and log back in. But you were there the entire night. It was...
Oh, God.
You'd probably start believing in Time Cube if I gave it to you there.
Yeah, I probably would have. Then I wake up with no recollection that I believed in Time Cube.
Jim's disappeared. What do you mean? Well, he started ranting about 4 simultaneous days and kind of jumped out the window and...
That was that. We
see you like 2 years later on the street corner.
Exactly. Alright, let's get some more music in our veins.
Let's get some more music.
violence reigned almighty across the land. Men and women accused of witchcraft were burned at the stake, hanged from the gallows, or placed under the blade of the executioner. Pestilence, the most destructive plagues, war with its untold horrors, were not even as remotely feared as the dark power of Satan and his sinister followers of devils and witches.
The souls possessed by
All right, that first one was Executioner with Metal Up Your Ass.
From the Metal Up Your Ass single and demo. If you're thinking, who's Executioner? Well, they later went on to change their name to Obituary. Sadly, they've never reissued the Executioner demos, but you can find them online and things like that. I think it's quite good. It's nothing spectacular, maybe just some good thrash. But yeah, that's Obituary before they changed their name.
Awesome. The next one was October 31 with Salem's Curse.
Off of The Fire Awaits You. That's just good for the soul. That's just good old-fashioned heavy metal with some nice horror. You know, I love horror metal. I mean, you know, I like the Cannibal Corpse gore thing. You know, the stabbing and knives, but I like a good tale of witchcraft. I love horror. It's always funny, people. Oh, it's October. I'm going to start my 31-day horror marathon. I'm like, I've started my 27-year horror marathon.
Exactly.
Jim knows. How many times have I sent you link to whatever horror things I find online or whatever?
Oh yeah, I know.
I like reading creepypastas. I mean, most of them are terrible because most people A, get scared too easily, and B, have a really stupid idea of what horror is. There's one that I want to plug that I think I've plugged before. It's called How to Survive in Hell. It's not very scary, but it's just so bleak and dark, and it's so many great visions. But yeah, I love reading horror stories. I like movies, but they don't quite do what stories do, of course, because the whole blind thing.
Yeah.
So
visual medium, obviously.
Yes. So stories and you know, things like that work a little bit better. But I like you know, decent sounds of squishing and, you know, evil and so
yes, God was fired. Anyway, what were you saying?
I was just thinking about different drug things, and I remember my friend was on something, and he stood up, and he turns to me and he goes, "You can walk on the floor if you want." I'm like, "Thanks." He goes, "No, the floor just told me I'm here to be walked on. You can walk on me. It's my pleasure to be walked on." I'm like, "We have permission from the floor
to walk on it." Oh, yes. God.
I did hear the walls talk once.
Everyone's heard the walls talk.
And then a couple months ago, I was on way too much because I thought I'd try my teenage levels of weed, basically.
God.
Thinking. So, all of a sudden, I swear, you showed up on a motorcycle. You are the blasphemy. You are the blasphemy. And all of a sudden, I was a zombie. Like, I could feel my skin rotting off and things like that. And you just kept revving the engine saying, "You are the blasphemy. You." Meanwhile, I'm deteriorating. And I had to later on, because I didn't know if you'd called in, like, you know, once, well, maybe you're saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" But I was like, "You are the blasphemy." So I was like, "Jim," I had to check Skype to make sure you didn't call, because I was like, that was a night where I was amazed when I could go to the bathroom in the toilet.
Yes, the toilet was your friend and you forgot about it.
I was a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And the blasphemy. You
yes.
are the blasphemy.
God. Oh, man. You know, I've actually said to, like, a few of the people I was flirting with, you know, that, you know, I'm not a biker, but I play one on TV. It's actually gotten some good traction, especially whenever I start showing them the things to follow up or share the stories about being thrown from a 100-story window. Just because, you know, my friend the Spooky Spectre showed up and I only met his evil half, so I was promised to, like, you know, get famous. And
you actually said because I say that all the time, as you know. I'm not the this, but I do play one on TV. But you actually meant it.
Yeah, I mean it.
My
Another one of the cheesy pickup lines I've used has been, "I'm a complete asshole, but I'll try not to be just this once so I could get your number or buy you a drink or whatever the hell I'm doing at the time." That's actually worked a lot.
I can't. I'm not that confident. I'm just like, hey. That was one thing. It wasn't a pickup line, but it was someone was saying something about, and I said, I'm not a scientist, but I do play one on TV, just as a joke. And the guy, really? What show?
I mean, I think it's kind of stupid, too, because you got all these guys just trying so hard when it's just so much easier whenever you're not solely focused on getting the date. If you sit there and you try to look at it as, okay, when tie or die, who cares, that's usually when it's going to work, because if you're sitting there pursuing things, bashing people over the head constantly, more of the times the chick's just going to get weirded out. I mean, you'd get weirded out by someone going complete yandere usually half the time, sitting there going, girl just sitting there oogling you constantly. It's like, what the fuck?
I just talk. That's that's what I do. I just talk. It's just, hey, I'm me. How you doing? Basically my vibe is, you want in my world or not?
Yeah, really.
Totally up to you.
And it's not like, even after everything, there's going to be times where, a lot of time where it's like, yeah, life's just boring. I'm not doing anything, but, it's like,
well,
there's nothing to really convey, because I went to work today, and work was the same as always, or, they shut down half the plant, or, there was this moron today that, I was flagging, or whatever job I was at, or, I was capable of doing the damn telemarketing script, within, 2 minutes.
Well, I used
and it's
to water
usually,
down.
half an hour.
I used to water down, who I am, and I stopped doing that. I mean, I got someone interested because they saw the Carcass Recapitulation cover on my Facebook, and we're like, okay, he's interesting. This is not a normal this is it's. I also got a lot of, why does your cover photo look like a serial killer's wall? Are we going to talk about that? I was like, it's a freaking album cover. Chill out.
Mm-hmm.
And
whenever, right after the ex-wife, I went on these dating sites and I wrote this profile to hi, all the bright and fluffy stuff about me to make me seem ultra attractive, and I got hits left and right, and yeah, they all ended up being shallow, boring people, most of them. And it's just I don't see anything here, but it was written to be attractive to a mass audience, and it was, and it kind of backfired because I wasn't getting the kind of quality I want. So now it's written complete, serial killer.
I did that. I wrote it a mass audience. You know what happened? I got someone who actually seemed kind of interesting and in a very boring way. I posted. I don't even think it was metal. I think it was SOB. Brutal, really fast, brutal hardcore. And she goes, "That music scared me." I was like,
the chick I'm currently into and trying to flirt up with, and bullshit with, and just have a good time here. She was just basically a random ad on Facebook. Literally,
yeah.
I was just sitting there. Oh, let's add, because you were away for a couple weeks. There's no one for me to talk to, because everyone I usually talk to wasn't talking. So it's like, fuck it, I'll just add random people, see what the hell happens, and then I found someone that was pretty awesome. So it was like, yeah, okay. I'll roll with this.
I was at Laguna Seca, I believe, that time. That was when I, but yeah. So I mean,
actually, I gotta thank Jeannie Keebler again. I flirted with your band as an intro. You heard Gods. I put on both your tracks from both your albums for her, and she dug it, and that's how we started talking. It was great.
Oh, I did that with, I don't know if I could say her name, the Carcass girl. I'll call her. Hey, she was the Hey, if you kind of like metal, you know who you should listen to? You go to Herd Gods. But yeah, I think that was when I was away at Laguna. But the thing is I can understand people not getting it, because I understand it's pretty brutal music. But again, I mean, scaring people, I don't know. It seems weird to me that would, like I said, it wasn't even metal. It was just hard. It was, really, really, really fast hardcore punk. And as you know, I swim in that shit. I can listen to SOB all the time. Don't be swindle. Sorry. But I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work out if it's scaring you. It's not gonna work out. Whereas I've had others who were like, okay, I don't understand it, but explain why you like it, and I explain, okay, so I'm like, well, let's start you off with something a little bit, less brutal, Iron Maiden or whatever, which I still listen to daily, and I got Joseph to Dissection.
Yeah, ease their way into the good stuff.
Which is
not that Iron Maiden isn't good. It's fucking awesome. Just saying.
Well, no,
there's other good stuff.
Into the heavier stuff, you should say.
Yeah.
But I got her into Dissection, which I was like, wait, you're not ashamed by the satanic lyrics? You're not turned on. She's like, I know what I believe.
Yeah.
I was like, because I know people who won't listen to Christian bands or won't listen to satanic bands. It's like, I listen to Christian bands. I know exactly what I believe, and
yeah,
no amount of, but
I listen to all kinds of weird shit. Thor, fucking, just
Thor.
Yeah.
Oh, Thor's awesome. I'll give him that. I used to be friends with Thor on Facebook. He used to rant about how Manowar stole his act. Thor's hilarious. I can't hate the guy, even though I don't like most of his music. He's so funny. I listen to Manowar. I listen to a lot of Manowar, which people make fun of. But I mean, hey, I listen. And I listen to Christian metal if it's good. Incubus, not that Incubus, Jim. The other Incubus. Mortification. But. Yes, if you're not going to listen to music because it's satanic, I'm going to laugh at you. Exactly. But yeah, it was fun. I totally thought Joe's, because she could hear the, Dissection, the last album, you could hear the lyrics very plainly. So I was like, so you're not turned off by the lyrics? She's like, I know what I believe. I was like, cool. But yeah, just I'm so because what I do is. What I did whenever I tried to water it down, I played whatever we had in common, which was usually superficial things like food or something like that. So like I said, I posted SOB. Why did you post that music? That's scary. I was like, no, it's not.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I actually said, I don't think this is going to work out. What do you mean? You're scared by what I listen to every day.
Yeah, really. Fuck.
I mean, I can get if you don't understand it. That's perfectly fine, because I don't understand half of what anyone else likes. So, but if you're scared by it,
Yeah, it's like being terrified of the Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake. I always wonder what people hear. That's something I always wondered about, what people hear in death metal or hardcore or whatever, that they think it's just noise, because I can't,
I can pick up the harmonics, and I can pick up the some of the technical things they're doing whenever they change the time signature. I may not know which time signature they're changing to, but I know they changed the time signature and all that shit.
Oh, I was a nightmare whenever I would try to write music, because I don't know time signature. So I'm like, okay, now you can change from to dun 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 dun. So they're like, wait, so you want me to play it? I don't know what it's called, just do it. Because I like death metal time signature, so I was like, okay, so when I describe music, I'm like, I really like when they change it to dun 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 dun. Oh, that's the 8/8 or whatever. I'm like, I don't know what it's called. It's just, I like it. Do it. I didn't even know what the blast beat was called. I just do that super fast beat. But I mean, I can make out riffs in hardcore punk pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're simple riffs, but they're riffs.
Yeah. And like a good noise band, you'll hear some like weird things that like are like actual music, whereas like other people just like fucking just clang things together senselessly. Ones that actually make it like it's noise, but there's actual music to it. That's the trick.
If you listen to FUS, that demo I did, you could hear in the background the guitarist is actually playing actual chords because he hated what I was going for. He hated noise grind. I got him in because we were just friends, and he recorded something on. I did the drums and the vocals, and drums. I banged and screamed, and he overdubbed guitar. But you can actually hear he's actually doing chords. He's not just going, It's actually funny. I kind of like some of the things he was doing because again, he hated noise grind, which was I was very influenced by Seth Putnam and things like that. We will not play the FUS demo on Swine Brothers unless you really want us to.
Maybe later date.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No. We won't play it unless you really want us to.
Exactly.
You have to tell us you really want us to. Oh God, that's an old. I don't know if it's an old shame. I like it, but I sounded like a complete moron. I'm gonna scream really loud. Yeah, I love. We got on a couple compilations and stuff. It's fun. FUS will return at some point. We will return and shatter your eardrums. But anyway, so that's. But whereas, so the girl who was scared of you, I showed her, I started out with Coven because I still love Coven even though, which is more like 60s rock or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that's okay. And then I showed her because she said she liked metal and punk. What she actually liked was emo, and like metalcore. So I showed her, Deicide, classic death, and she's like, that's too heavy for me. And I was like, okay, fine. And then, but plus she didn't like the whole satanic thing, which I'm like,
Yeah, there may be a problem there.
Well,
everything is just a sea of hit and misses. And the main thing is, can you actually be friends with them outside of, just the whole romance thing? Because it's not always going to be 24/7 on. You have responsibilities and shit you gotta do. And sometimes you just need to kick back, relax, and bullshit with someone. And, especially if you're living together, that's like the person you're going to talk to most,
Well, yeah, that's why I sometimes there's not always romance with us. We just sit and talk about whatever. And, it's like, it's talking with just a friend. It's just, hey, we talk about all sorts of things,
Mm-hmm.
But then it'll have these weird things where it'll start and then just lead to something else. Mm-hmm. But I sat with Joyce and talked to her for 8 hours in like 10-minute intervals because her phone kept breaking. So I think we called each other about 80 times, but we did it, and I felt like it was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that's that. I know someone who broke up with a girlfriend of 3 years, and they still loved each other, but it wasn't all about, well, maybe we're more like friends because one time we were just hanging out as friends, so maybe we're just friends. I don't like, but that's part of it.
Yeah, it's not like you're always going to be wooing each other. You're just going to sometimes just sit there and go, yep. And that's about it because, you're just both fried from the day. Sometimes, you sit there and you bullshit for 12 hours doing nothing but bullshit. You're not, like, getting flirty or anything. And sometimes in the middle of that conversation you get real flirty and then, like, things happen or they don't and it de-escalates and goes back to, like, other shit. And then you sit there and, it's all fucking, just normal people things.
I've seen you and your girlfriends just talk online like friends. And I'm sure part of it was just because I was there, but it wasn't, But yeah, he was like, well, we talked and we were like more or less friends, so maybe, we're not. And I was like, he didn't listen, so they broke up.
Yeah, it's not always like, I'm going to give you a full body massage and, like, slowly, kiss my way behind my hands so I work up your legs and all that. No. We're not going to be always talking about that. Sometimes it's like, hey, did you see that fucking, guy rip off his fucking head and then, like, beat him to death with it even though he was technically already dead?
Or you just play Pathfinder or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or do a show.
Yeah, I've had girlfriends on.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
My favorite was still... And I didn't know you all that well, so I didn't know what you thought. But this was maybe December. We were playing Pathfinder, and we took a break. This is when I had my laptop, right?
Mm-hmm.
We took a break. I think I still had the headphones on, but I went to go get some coffee, and you went to go get some coffee. So your then girlfriend was there just, singing about how lonely she was. I come back and I hear it, and I go, "Rawr!" Just to, boo. And so we start laughing. For some reason, you ever had one of those things where two people start laughing and it just builds up to we're like convulsing with laughter over something that's probably not that funny. You come back and you're trying to start the game, but we're too busy laughing. You're like, what the hell happened while I was gone? Because both of us are almost on the floor laughing. You're like, okay, something happened while I was gone.
Exactly.
Oh, it's time to behave. Jim's back.
Quick, get back in the closet. Oh, God. Did you ship off that cartoon I sent you to your girlfriend so she could describe it to you?
Which one? You've sent several.
The one where it was like, is this your first time with the blind guy? Oh, yeah, it was so hot. Oh, shit, my husband's home. Quick, hide under the bed. And then, like, because he's blind, he's lying down right out in plain sight.
Yes. I did send that. Because you sent another one about Countess or Demon. Yes, mm-hmm. I said that. That's funny.
Countess, Demon, bitch, whatever.
Yes, well, now she wants to be called Countess, so thank you. We were joking about, quick, hide in the closet. Shit, Jim's in the closet.
Wait, why is he in the closet? I don't know. And then you get in the closet. Where the fuck's my pants? Shut up.
No, for me, yes, that is funny about the blind thing hiding out the. For me, it wouldn't be I can't fit under the bed. I'm too fat. Shit.
Exactly.
We're dead. What are you doing with my wife?
I was checking to see if the floor was plumb, and you can only do that when you're naked. I'm blind, you see. I gotta use all my senses. I can't see the bubble in the thing. Yeah.
Why is she naked? She's naked?
I didn't know. Anyways, thanks for the taco. Really? Well, I'm just gonna leave. I don't think you can shoot the blind kid at that guy at that point. You just kind of. I mean, hell, I'm sitting there, and even the girl I'm currently flirting with, we have like conversations that are just like about nothing sometimes, and like, or just whatever the hell happened during the day, and she tells me that she fed her dog tacos while she had tacos, and I'm like, oh, cool. That's kind of cute, actually, because she's got a cute puppy.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just, that was something a guy and I talked about. He had was engaged, and I was like, so what's like the weirdest? Because I know who she was as well, and we were just, not like I'm gonna, steal it. Whatever. We were talking like, what's like the weirdest thing where you catch it with someone else, but it's too weird for you to do anything but walk away. So we were talking about like the most absurd situations.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, no, I mean, me and the girl just talk, and I find a lot of things she says, adorable, basically. But we also just talk about, what's going on in the world, or oh, did you listen to any, she actually asks if I listen to any new albums or whatever, and actually wants to hear about them, not just like, cool. She's like, oh, really? Why didn't you like that? You say it's similar to this one that you liked. Why didn't you like it? Because she wants to understand what I like and don't like. So I explained to her, various things, and she's actually interested. But we also just talk about favorite. If you get us talking about food, Jim, go out and do something for about 7 hours. Come back, and we'll still be talking about food.
Mm-hmm. And with me, it's mostly I'm brain dead from fucking work, so I can't always be like Mr. Creative Bot and think of things. So that always sucks, but that's just life. You can't always have the brain at 100% go, 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 go.
Well, I'm not always she's asked what I'm doing, and I was like looking up the history of the lawnmower or something weird like that, because I find it fascinating, how things develop. But not all the time. Sometimes I'll just be, I'm reading a TV tropes page. That's what I do most of the time.
I'm playing a video game. If they're into video games, they'll ask me what video game and what the hell's going on in it and that. Or, if they're not into video games, they'll pass it up and wait to hear something else they're actually interested in.
Yep. What are you doing? Talking with Jim. Please kill me.
As always, if you or any of your friends are either caught or killed, our secretary shall disavow all knowledge of your actions and then disembowel you should you survive.
What are you doing? Talking with the blind kid. Send help.
Yeah, send nachos.
Well, a lot of times, what are you doing? Watching racing. When she'll ask, what kind of racing? Oh, whatever, sprint car, or Formula One, or just whatever. I'm not always doing something weird, and but other times what are you doing? Oh, I'm reading a history book about Jim Jones.
Sometimes I just copy paste something I'm currently writing or working on, and just ship that out because this is what I'm currently doing.
Do you ever give her random links I send you?
Sometimes I gotta ship Time Cube. That's a must.
Did you ship the occult?
I sent the law enforcement one because I found it because it's an awesome video. That one's a must watch, and next episode we will be covering that in full.
We will be covering. Oh God, yes. It's gonna be like Mystery Science Theater, only probably worse.
Yeah, because it's gonna be audio only. I'm not gonna fucking put up the damn video just so we could see it.
But unlike episode 10, where we thought we were sharing audio because stupid Anarcha told us we were.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best advice I can give you. Never listen to anything Anarcha ever says about anything.
Yes, don't be an Anarcha.
Don't be. That is the lowest form of life.
Mm-hmm.
But we did this thing in episode 10 where we watched Bob Larson interview Asheron and some public information films and things like that. It was very fun. Unfortunately, no one heard anything. They just heard us giggling.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode is completely unwatchable unless
you're following along and you know which link we were watching.
Yeah. So it is. Yeah. Although I still like when one of the guys fast forwarded and you started screaming, "Who the fuck did that? I will pull their intestines out of their mouth."
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find that again because that was hilarious. Anyway,
yeah.
But yes, we will have audio of the law enforcement guide to occult satanic activity.
Yes, it'll
that
be
will
glorious.
Be the next episode. Oh, it will be stupid.
Mm-hmm. And we'll point and laugh.
Incredibly. Because I've always been fascinated by the satanic panic.
Oh, yeah. Me being the satanic baby killer of Jeanette, Pennsylvania. All because I got in the metal and was a dorky kid who came from a mental institution. I'm the satanic baby killer now. Yep.
Now he's a dorky adult.
I'm twice as dorky.
Yes. Oh, well, at least you didn't try to deny it. course you're a dork.
Oh, why the fuck would I deny it? It's fun. I get to play with knives.
Yes. You do get to play with knives.
Anyways, let's have some more fun.
Yes.
first one was Agnostic Front with The Eliminator.
Off of Cause for Alarm, their second album. Which, that's their metal album. You know, the Agnostic Front's a classic hardcore band. That's their metal album, and a lot of people don't like it. Well, didn't like it at the time because, you know, punk band goes metal. Of course, I love it. I love all of it, what Agnostic Front did. Great band.
Mm-hmm. And the second was Hate with Resurgence.
Off of their new album, Rugia, I don't know. Anyway, it depending on when you hear this, because this is on YouTube, it can be streamed anytime. It will be / has been released on October 15th. So
2021.
Pre-order 2021. So pre-order and or buy it. And of course, as we've said before, buy all the albums you hear if you like them.
You know, kind of back into the vein of, like, you know, people trying too hard. There's also this thing where, like, once you start, like, you know, actually dating, there's people that, like, think that everything should be effortless, that you have to put no work into it. Then there's the actual opposite, where someone tries to sacrifice everything that is themselves and put nothing but work into it, and it's completely lopsided. And, you know, in both cases, it kind of just fails.
Yes, yes,
Because in the latter, it's all like, oh, isn't that romantic? I'm willing to give all of myself to you. It's like, well, life's not like that.
Oh, well, I mean, I gave all my soul to her, but there was like an ounce, so, you know, it was, yeah, I did because I was so used to, you know, having basically an absentee girlfriend that when someone came who wanted me to take the initiative, I was like, oh shit, I'm not used to this. And I blew that, but I do try not to. I mean, I told you about what the Judy thing, that she wanted me to basically completely change and become an evangelist.
You know, going off on that, oh wow, I blew it thing. God, I remember whenever I was younger, like during my party years, and I was crying over the fact that I cheated on this one girl that I thought was like the one forever, and, like, you know, I cheated on her twice and I screwed it up and it's all my fault and bloody blah, and I got stuck in that mode for like a couple years, and it's like, dude, you know, you screwed up, learn from your mistakes, move on, you know. Yeah. I mean, I did learn from my mistakes. I never cheated on anyone ever again. Even though my ex-wife deserved it, I didn't. You know.
I screwed up what I thought was a good thing, and, you know, I still think I was an idiot, but I was okay, well, I lost that opportunity, let's don't do it with this one. But, yeah, I've also not, you know, completely lopsided, as you said, or, you know, beware of people trying to change you too much.
I mean, there's always this bit of compromise you gotta make, you know, some of your old habits are gonna change. And it's better just let things change naturally than it is, okay, you know, you gotta conform to this. And then, like, you know, there's, like, the ex-wife trying to, like, get me to even get rid of the 5 friends I kept because she wanted me all to herself. And it's like, well, that's not going to happen. I need a life outside of you so I can maintain, you know, sanity, because if it's nothing but you, then what, you know? There is no, like, world, you know?
Well, I've always said...
Give up. It's pretty much a give up on your dreams. I'm it, baby. And it's like, why? I want to fucking fulfill my dreams. And
there's an interesting MCP plot in there somewhere.
Probably.
Actually, yes. Anyway, for those of you who don't know what MCP is, you'll find out one of these days.
Yeah.
And dear God, your life will never be the same. At least mine hasn't been. But anyway. Well, my whole thing is... God, I forgot what I was going to say. Now I'm thinking about tentacles. Thanks.
Oh, that's great. I wasn't even trying for that. I was trying to go over how much bullshit that marriage was.
I know you weren't, but you mentioned MCP, and my brain just went... No,
I didn't mention it. I just mentioned something that could be a plot element in it, but it's actually something that happens in real life.
But, well, yes, it could be a plot element for one of the more subtle ones, which is actually one of my favorite types, is the more subtle or reluctant ones. No, what was I saying? So the whole thing. Oh, so my favorite type of girl has always been one that can get me to do something I wouldn't normally do, not by like nagging, but just by, here, you want to try this, or let's try, this look, try something different, and okay, sure, and I try it. Sometimes I hate it. That's my favorite type of friend as well. Is someone who, I mean, I didn't know shit about D&D other than, it was nerds played it apparently, but it looked kind of interesting. And Jim was like, "Hey, do you want to play D&D?" I was like, "Sure, I guess." "Do you want to play Fallout?" I was like, "Sure, I guess."
I love that Fallout one. That was like, after we finally got up, fine, it's finally working. I'll play like 10 minutes because I gotta go to sleep. 6 hours later, hey dude, I gotta go to work.
No. Get to the other story. How long did it take us to get it working?
About like 4 hours.
Way more than 4 hours. Like 7 hours.
Okay.
We started about 2 my time before the because I thought we'd play a little bit and then I'd go, "Hey, I'm gonna go watch the IndyCar race in Phoenix," right? And then maybe we'd go back to play. Anyway, it took you forever to set everything up to the point where I had dinner in the middle of it. Finally, at 10:40 or something like that. And remember, I had been up since like 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so this I was like, it's about almost 11. I'll play for about 20 minutes, and then I gotta go to bed because I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. I did go out to get more caffeine, but still, 6 hours later, it was Jim who ended it saying, "I have to go to get some sleep to go to work." So, yes, 6 hours. Well, Pathfinder, the same thing. It was we did one session, and then you were busy, so we didn't do the next session until January 2016. I was like, "Come on, hurry up! When are we gonna do another one? When are we gonna do another one?" And I said something about, "Yeah, sorry for everyone who's been waiting forever." Jim goes, "Oh, come on! It was only last year."
I see, girl I'm currently talking to, she got me inspired to say, well, maybe I should start traveling, go on another adventure. Now I just gotta save up for it, get things plotted, do all this shit, but, damn it, so it was a good idea. She got me to consider something I didn't think of before, and it's like, yeah, well, even though I'm limited means, I could still do something. I might have to sell all my old school game systems, but they're currently just collecting dust. I don't have them set up or anything.
I still think you should explore your local metal scene a little bit as well.
Yeah, I should be doing that a bit more. It's just, by the time I hear about a show, it's already over. So I have, no time to fucking, set up, get a day off. Because usually it's during the week whenever I gotta work.
I do want, if King ever comes to Pittsburgh, I want you two to meet, and I want video of the chaos.
Everyone is dead. Thank you.
Yeah.
And good night.
and you don't drink that much, and he doesn't drink at all. But I know him, so just imagine. Oh God, they're completely sober and they're doing this.
Jim just fucked an electrical socket for no reason.
Well, that was my favorite part of the interview, where you two were just talking like old friends. "Oh yeah, I know that drive-in. I don't remember the name, but yeah, I know the guy who runs the drive-in. Oh yeah,
I don't know the guy. I know a guy that knows the guy."
Yeah, but still, it was like, "Oh yeah, I know that. Remember that place? Oh yeah."
Oh yeah, that's always cool.
Yeah, it's just funny. I'm just imagining Jim on a haunted hayride. I think Jim would be a haunted hayride.
I should be. You just cut me up and all of a sudden all this hay spills out and then demons and my guts,
4 simultaneous days.
For simultaneous days and one single earth rotation. You're all educated, stupid. Oh my God, he's broken again.
You've broken him.
Exactly.
The gym bot's broken. Evil.
You do this cause it's evil.
That was the stupidest fucking thing.
I know. It was just running off a fucking bad joke after bad joke, trying to maintain some sanity. I mean, the game was fun, but you still had to maintain some sanity because, well, being guys, because it was really girly, and it just drained your testosterone. But dear God, was it fun.
We played it once before on a dry run. We did that all one night, but we skipped through most of it because we slept. Oh, good, the monkey has graced us with its presence.
Yeah,
but,
that was good.
The next day, so a couple months later, we do it, and we did, I think, one thing that night. We went to bed, and then the next day we did the entire thing in like 7 hours. After we, but yeah, rather than doing a straight playthrough, which we did off microphone, we completely, as you said, bad joke after bad joke after. It's most likely incomprehensible to anyone else.
Yeah.
That lesbian kiss was just way too. But at the same time, I didn't like any of the guys, so it was like.
Yeah, well, the one guy that was supposed to be the evil option, it was like the lamest kind of evil.
Yes. I guess.
So I went through. I got all the fucking achievements, which meant I went on every date possible with that game, so I knew what the hell to expect. And I'd gotten all the achievements in, what's it called? Long Live the Queen.
Yeah.
And I liked the one we did there, where it was like, I was going to kill her family anyway, so it doesn't matter that we just chucked her into the ocean.
But she's your best friend. I was going to kill her whole family anyway.
And the father just sits there contemplating, dear God, the monster I have raised. And she's going to be taking over. No.
I like to think that the father just slowly turns and looks at her and sees her clearly for like the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, why did the mother have to die? I also like the one where she basically gives up her free will in order to explode people's heads.
Yeah.
That's fun too.
Must always explode people's heads.
But yes, Long Live the Queen was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll as Jim found out, I'll play anything. As you know,
Mm-hmm. And visual novels work best because that way there's a lot of reading or voice acting.
Yes,
voice acting helps.
And
you need options in there that actually, are meaningful.
Well, that was the only problem with When They Cry was there was no options. It was an interesting story, but there were no options. Still, there didn't really need to be. I'm taking you home with me. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Yes, take me home with you. Yay!
Child snatcher.
Exactly. Children snatching children.
I also like the one where the one person knew everything about me. And your favorite hobbies are napping? And wait, how did you know all this?
Exactly.
I need to get Jim to play some text adventures. I want to see him. There's a particular game called Shrapnel, which is a very hard. Well, it's not a hard game, but it's a mindfuck game because it involves time. I want to see Jim's head explode when he makes the wrong decision, but it's actually the right decision, and then he finds out that.
Yeah, everything is destroyed because I said so.
Text adventures are fun. Obviously, text adventures are fun. I as everyone who's listened knows, I play them all the time. Not even just horror. Some of them, like some old classics like Curses and things like that, I'll revisit. And of course, my favorite. You know, my favorite is Stiffy.
Yeah, Stiffy McCain.
Stiffy McCain. The wrong and dishonorable Stiffy McCain. Oh, dear God. Look him up.
Mm-hmm.
He started out as... It's interesting. After I played Mentula Machinus, which is the game I was telling you about, I played the original Stiffy McCain, and it was awful. It was actually one of the worst games I've ever seen because it was, there was no plot. The commands were all wrong. Some guy took this bad character and made it into something different. So that's why we can use Stiffy for whatever we want because.
Mm-hmm.
So he will be a role-playing character. Oh my god! If you think I'm bad as black metal, wait till you see me as Stiffy.
Oh dear God, that'd be horrific.
He's very intelligent, but he's
too horny to keep anything under control.
Yes. Well, yes. I showed you the score, right? You've scored with Cleopatra, with Caesar, with your butler, with fucking an apple, with the pirate captain.
Oh God, Apple. That reminds me, there used to be like this video floating around teaching girls how to use the orange trick, which is pretty much just getting your guy to fucking orange. You cut the hole in it and just slap his dick around it and it's supposed to feel good. I don't know. It just was like, what?
That's all I can say at this point is but yes, Stiffy, if you think black metal's bad, Stiffy's gonna be terrible. I mean, he's gonna be enjoyable, but it's gonna be chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Just he went on this mission, which changed his life because he wanted goddess pussy. That is the only reason why he went on this mission.
And then you grabbed a figure that was your own, and you grabbed your own figure, and you grabbed your own figure. We're sorry, the universe has to close now because you've created a fucking error.
Well, yes, because the figurine is the game board of reality. So if you grab your own figure, your hand closes around the figurine, and you basically just. We apologize. The universe has encountered the problem and needs to close. It crashes the game too. I mean, you save it, so obviously, but yes, I had to show you that.
That was great.
Well, I edited for length because there's like a whole page of just your hand closes around the figurine and your hand closes around the figurine and there's like a whole page of that. I edited tremendously for you because otherwise it's too long for Discords. Yes.
Oh no. Hey, let's end the universe.
Yes, let's end the universe.
Alright, the first one was Archgoat with Heavens Ablaze.
Their first single off their upcoming album, released November 26th, 2021, Worship the Eternal Darkness, which will, again, come out November 26th, or has come out if you're listening to this afterwards. It sounds like typical Archgoat. I quite like it. And yes, I can hear melodies in that.
Mm-hmm. Anyone with trained ears can.
Yes.
The next one was Azagrom with Hate of Satan's Hammer.
From the Dawn of Infinite Fire album, released in 2019. They're one of my favorite recent black metal bands, in the last 10 years or so. 2 albums and just amazing. Especially I particularly like the drumming on that. Amber is a fantastic drummer.
Mm-hmm.
As anyone knows, I'm a wannabe drummer, and that's I always I focus on guitar riffs and vocals and bass, but I also pay equal attention to drums, which I'm always excited when I hear catchy drum patterns and things like that, or good playing. That's always that's always
good shit.
Yes, that's very. And again, 2019 on Edged Circle Productions. So buy the albums,
like good
people.
Fun. Oh man.
Buy the albums, or the universe will have to close.
The universe will have to close.
There's
as everyone goes demised.
There's other. I love playing text adventures. I don't always have to be the villain. That's one thing. Oh, you're always the villain. No, I'm not. I could play good if I want to, but my version of good is more vigilante type.
Yay, vigilante, go murder everyone.
Or just do your own thing. Not be lawful good.
There are so many different facets to people. Don't get fucking caught up on fucking perfection, because it doesn't exist, and it's a bullshit thing to try for. You just try to be as good as you fucking can be.
Everyone has character flaws, except for me, of course.
That's why I must shit on you. Continually.
Yes, and you.
You will have to learn how to perish one of these days.
I will tell you when I think you're being stupid.
Exactly.
Or when you come up with ideas that are just like, are you high?
Are you high?
I wish.
There
Actually,
are 16 million times that we've had to fucking go into the rectal orifice of doom.
The rectal orifice of doom.
Yes. Because we shit in our Cocoa Puffs.
Yes, I remember you used to send that to me randomly.
Yeah, you didn't know it was part of a longer thing, because that was one of Boomhauer's sayings. He had many.
He was like an interesting...
He was interesting, but also kind of useless. Which is what made him interesting, because of how useless he would make himself.
Yes. It reminds me of the story I heard where some guy had a pot plant growing in his backyard, and these guys stole it and dragged it over to the next door house. Well, when I say dragged, so the guy wanted to know where his pot plant was. Hey, look, all you have to do is follow the trail of dirt and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
You moron.
Exactly.
How did you think you were going to get away with that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I was high. I needed to get more high. There was a spot there. I was going to get away with it, so you kids ruined it for us.
But you had no chance. I don't care. I was going to get high.
Mm-hmm.
That's like me poisoning the drinking water. I had no choice. I had no chance.
Yeah, no chance. You had plenty of choice. Of course, it was me fucking telling you, how much would you like? Enough for personal use or enough to poison a water supply? Just to sound hardcore, you're like, ooh, poison water supply. It's like, God, now I gotta dig out notes on a town. Fuck.
Yes, you were trying to say something that's hardcore, and my brain just snapped to.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yes.
You have no plan here. Because you're going to a place that's not like Ash Point.
God,
it hasn't been corrupted yet.
My favorite was still after all that, and I turned to the elf and go, "So we're even now, right?" And the elf was like,
"Not even close." We're just on speaking terms now.
"He was my friend too. That's really mean."
Yeah, you sold him out. You have a horrible habit of selling your friends out.
Really? What was your first clue?
When I first met you, I knew.
Well, you just heard the story right now about what's currently happening.
You see, this is why I made you the blind prophet of my cult. Because I know you will betray me, and I will get at least one prediction correct. And that's when the people come to worship.
Yes. So yes, you've just heard that. Oh yeah, you've sold out your lover to a cult.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really, I sell out my friends, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oops. Yes, I have a bad. Thankfully it's not in real life. In real life, I'm actually loyal to a fault, but
yeah.
Except to you, Jim. I will sell you out for a bag of Skittles.
A half-eaten single Skittle. That's as low as you'll go. I know. I still want to buy someone's soul for a half-eaten sandwich. Because there was that one time atheist hanging out partying. I was like, I want to buy your soul. It's like $5 and it's yours. So I even got him to sign the contract for his soul and blood, made it sound all legalese shit. And then, like, months later, I took a shit out my attic window because, the shitter wasn't working. And I didn't have toilet paper handy, so I grabbed the first piece of paper I had and wiped my ass with it. And here, it was the contract for his soul. So I wiped my ass with someone's soul.
Yes, well, yes, I will. See, it has to be an uneaten sandwich. I won't go as low as you will.
Well, I could always have someone, cute eat half of it. But it has to be a half-eaten sandwich.
Yes, whereas I will. It has to be full food. Like an unopened bag of Skittles. But I could buy Skittles for like $2 or whatever. But no, instead I'm going to sell you out for one for Skittles.
I know. That's just the way life goes,
Now, would you sell someone out for a bowl of ice cream?
No, not usually.
Oh, I would. Well, not usually. Just you.
Oh, okay.
You're special in that regard.
I'm special. I always get sold out at the worst possible times.
What?
God, I'm so used to it on my fucking show. God. Fright Night Theater, yeah, I'm constantly being sold out. And I'm constantly selling out others. I'm trying to take over hell, damn it. I want to turn it into Super Hell World, amusement park, and luxury hotel.
I like the dynamic you and Satan have, because he's exasperated with you, but he's also kind of amused by you.
And he's also forced to have me, because every time I die, I go to hell. And he keeps kicking me out. This time, Jim, don't die.
But it's a weird, because it's a funny dynamic, because, like I said, part of it's exasperation, but you can tell he's like also, why does he think this is a nice place?
I just say my prayers and eat my vitamins. Praise the Dark Lord. Oh, God.
And you know, the sad thing is, I'd be more apt for that being an actual Satanist.
I know. I'm not, but it's still like, cool to be the character,
Oh, I know, but if I ever played Fright Night Theater.
God. You'd probably be livid, and then we'd have to get rid of you.
You can't take over hell, Jim. You are a false.
False Vorka, I got it.
Well, I probably won't say false Vorka because nobody would understand that, but I will definitely call you a false. Yes, false. That was such funny thinking on because I didn't expect her to come back, and when Vorka came back, I'm sure you were thinking, okay, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
I wasn't thinking about that hard. I was like, I can hardly wait to see what he's going to do.
And I was like, okay, I've told the entire tribe my name is Vorka. They know my name isn't Vorka, but you are false Vorka. And then just imagining the rage on you stole my identity?
Yeah. That's about it. You consumed her flesh and thus became her.
As someone said, I've never seen that happen before. I've seen people pretend to be someone, but someone who
actually believes they are them.
I don't know.
Complete psychotic break from reality here.
And everyone knows she's not Vorka, because Vorka's she can do magic.
Mm-hmm.
But would you question?
She's psychotic and eats other goblins.
She eats her own kids.
Mm-hmm.
She carries.
Hell, the first thing you did was, whenever you went back with all the fireworks, you blew up the whelping pens. You destroyed the future generation.
Girlfriend has made it clear that they're not abortions. She carries them fully to term and then eats them.
Yes, because she's got to eat babies. It's a baby eating contest with her.
Yes.
God, you know how many times I've made the baby eating contest joke about how evil campaigns in D&D roll? Like, long before I even met you. That's usually what it is. It's a baby eating contest, because we had one once.
I wonder what she does when she's, pregnant and can't eat babies, because she hasn't delivered them yet.
Probably finds other people to eat. It's Ash Point, after all.
It's Ash Point. Oh, I love, yes, so now Vorka. See, that's why Fidget's, because Valorous is out of his... He's not out of his mind. His mind's in another dimension. And Vorka is she could probably run it if she wants to. She's just too busy getting knocked up and eating.
Eating her children and going insane. She's with it enough to know where she is and what she's doing, but she is no longer Retta Big Bad. She is Vorka.
Yes, if you call her Retta.
And everything is based off of her psychotic breaks from reality, even though she's still sort of in reality.
But here's one, Jim. Imagine what the product of Retta and Valorous would be.
Oh yeah, that's half goblin, half human. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the brain.
Do 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 do.
The ones that crawled away.
Well, they actually had the willpower and smarts to do so.
Oh my god. We will get back. We need someone to help. We need someone to play with us.
Yes.
But we will get. You will see. You will see what Vorka Retta has become.
Yes, become the evil that we have always dreamt of.
And of course, remember Black Metal's. What Black Metal's attempting to do.
Yeah, trying to breed his own army so that he can breed out the human populace.
Using humans and goblins and whatever else, elves and
Everything he can fuck.
Yes. Well, that
Which
was
is, I love that, because you found a vigilante who is all about, not cheating. So the first thing you do whenever you get back to hang out with your friends is have sex with 2 separate women. Which, obviously, she would be following you to see if you kept your word. And here you are doing the very thing she's protesting against. And you were hoping to convert her.
Yes, Black Metal should have thought that through.
He's not that good at thinking anything
through.
See,
the girlfriend has asked why he does it. So he was with Sela, and still is.
Mm-hmm.
And that was and so she asked, well, why doesn't he marry Sela and not Marisol? And I didn't think about that.
Because Sela isn't interested in marriage. She has a duty to find the slaves and bring them back.
Yes.
She's focused on duty. So, that option's not even there, even though, every time she gets 5 minutes.
But then she asked, okay, but Black Metal's idea is to breed. Does she have kids? And I had to think about that for a second. I said, yes. We hide her out until she gives birth, and then she goes out and, gets slaves. But yes, she has no.
And just sells her own children into slavery from infancy. From the moment they take their first breath, they're a slave.
Yes.
It's just that depraved. It's that depraved. It's evil.
Well, Marisol wants to miscarry, but Valorous is trying to talk her out of it. No, you don't have to take care of it. Just carry it. Just have kids.
Yeah, just have this one at least, and then you can have mine.
Yes, you don't worry about it. We can find other people to take care of them.
Yeah, we'll just drop them off at the school run by the unnamed cleric of Boink.
Yes.
Who we don't know if it's because he took a sacred vow to never reveal his true name, or if he is just so stoned out of his gourd that he forgot his name. And it's just permanently there. But he's very good at, teaching science and math and all the other stuff, because you have to have a high intelligence when you worship Boink, or else you're executed or used as Operation Human Shield. If you have an intelligence under 10, then you're encouraged to go out and offer yourself as a living sacrifice to another cult, because Boink really doesn't want you. Let some other god claim you. You're too stupid.
But these are all questions I've been asked, and like I said, well, what about Marisol? And I was like, oh, she'll have more. She'll, just that, Valor or Black Metal has to convince her.
Yes.
And she wants to kill Valorous.
Yeah, but can't because he's too powerful.
Yes, but yes, Black Metal will tell. She's probably one of the few that Black Metal will actually tell about his plans. Because I don't think Marisol would care all that much. Yeah, okay, you want to kill humans? Cool. Where do I fit in?
She just wants to be a kept wife. She doesn't care who you sleep with.
Yes, exactly. So, but these are questions that, because I get asked, and they force me to actually think and create a mythos. Because, yeah, these are questions that, why didn't he do this? This is why. The one thing is, why didn't he... When I stopped the ambush from happening because everyone else was doing a decoy thing. Mm-hmm. So when they went to go clear a house, I sat and watched, and they got pissed off and attacked me. And she's like, well, why didn't you attack? I was like, he was pissed off that they didn't help. Well, but they didn't know. I didn't say he was rational. And then the guy was so pissed off because he's trying to masquerade as the good guy, so he has to
cover for me
and
make you repent of your sins. You fucking make me look bad.
Meanwhile, Fidget she's like, you're not on thin ice. Thin ice is a bit too much of a compliment for you.
Yeah, you've already drowned.
Yes.
Because you're her bitch now. She owns you. She cast hold person on you while you were sleeping so that when you woke up to her pissing on your face, you couldn't move. And she said flat out, I own you, as she was pissing on your face.
I'm surprised she didn't beat me.
Oh no, she wouldn't beat you because she needs you to do services which are suicidal, and she'd rather have them accomplished. But the fact that they're suicidal, you know.
Yes. So yes, black metal. Well, because that was the whole thing. Is like, wait, Strix are supposed to hate humans. Oh no, you're one of the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of the good guys until the army comes. Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Paladin
Death Squads.
He hasn't quite figured out like how the army will work or whatever. He's kind of in the breeding stage.
Oh yeah.
But this is what we do. And even talking about this with the girlfriend was kind of romantic. She's interested in breeding and all that.
Interested in the breeding. And the deviant things we do in Dungeons and Dragons and video games and other stupid shit.
MCP.
I still gotta see everything going on with what I'm doing, but you know. And one baby steps. Or, you know, just dive right in. I don't know. We'll find out.
I have, the one who used to be on the show, I did send her some MCP a couple times. I thought it was weird sending porn to your girlfriend, but then I just did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You knew about it, so it wasn't, you know.
And that was another thing with this one. I was talking about the times that, whenever we first started talking, I was talking about, you know, I used to steal a lot of porn from under my dad's bed. I didn't go into, like, what the porn was or anything. It was just, you know, that was, like, part of the major topic we were talking about.
Yes. But I love that you knew that I was sending her porn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, it makes perfect sense in context.
Because she's into that, you know.
But out of context, it looks hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, yeah, no, I was like, hey, Joe, I just... Oh, what'd you send? Oh, some bug stuff this time.
Oh, well, she was into bugs, so, yeah.
Spiders.
She would definitely be into, like, insects, arachnids, that sort of thing.
The icky, squicky spider.
Mm-hmm.
It is the grossest one I've ever read.
On that note...
On that note, the grossest one I've ever read. This has been the Swine Brothers Show, episode 93.
You can contact us at cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers.
Twitter is SwineBro666, or not Twitter.
Yeah,
it will be SwineBro666 once I reinstall it. Like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Share the fuck out of it. We suck at promotion.
For the Jim, I have been the Elliot. We'll see you next time.
And Stalingrad propaganda should have included my balls.